Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. I, Gojo Satoru, become Uchiha Itachi younger brother. Chapter 21. The next day, Wu Jiaowu lay lazily on a tree on the training ground. So boring. Why are you all so busy doing tasks lately? Do you have to do a big wave before the holidays to earn some extra money? Even the Itachi guy ran off to perform the mission. Is it really appropriate to employ child labor? By the way, his birthday is coming soon. What would you like to bring? No one should know this kind of thing better than me. Wu Jiaowu curved the corners of his mouth and left a sinister smile. Aha, that's settled, go and ask him in person. Uchiha Satoru asked him to no avail. But what if Goku asked him? Ha ha ha, he will definitely not refuse. So what's a good last name? Certainly not Uchiha. Wu Jiaowu looked at his white hair and suddenly had a good idea. Well, white hair and silver hair are almost the same anyway. Okay, let's call it Hitaki Satoru. Wu Jiaowu ran to the house and rummaged through the cabinets. Finally, a white-haired forehead protector with one eye covered and a mask on her face, the women's version of Uchiha Satoru, appeared. Wu Jiaowu looked at himself in the mirror. The short white hair was scattered in a mess, and the same mask and forehead protector as Kakashi covered the face, and a long blue dress was added. Ha ha ha, what a beautiful and handsome little beauty. I can't believe Satoru-kun, I'm so suitable for women's clothing. Wu Jiaowu said exaggeratedly while holding his chin. It's really like a women's version of Kakashi, though. I'm the women's version of Kakashi, Hitaki Satoru. Ha 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 ha, Wu Jiaowu said in a contrived tone. As expected, my women's clothes are so beautiful. Wu Jiaowu admired himself carefully and then walked out. He should be in this position now. Secret technique, teleportation technique, he said lightly. Kang means absolute attraction, and the effect is to create a strong suction force, turning the distance between multiple objects into negative infinity. It can be understood as a small black hole. Instantaneous movement is to use the performance of Kang. After accurate positioning, the space between the two positions is compressed, thereby producing the effect of displacement. Soon Wu Jiaowu disappeared from the room and appeared in a dense forest. It is estimated that people are almost here. Itachi received a simple escort mission, and according to the itinerary, he should have arrived here. In front of them, they must pass through. The terrain is complex and rugged, and no matter how fast their feet are, they will not go too far. Wu Jiaowu, who was thinking, suddenly felt a little weak. A sense of exhaustion suddenly rose. What happened? Is it because the body is too young to perform teleport continuously? Also, yesterday's exam used too many times the teleportation derived from Kang's skills. I didn't rest today, it's time for my body to protest. Well, that's fine for today. Just enjoy the treatment that a weak girl should have. A wicked smile flashed across Wu Jiaowu's face. He opened his exposed eyes, and the mysteries of the universe seemed to be running between his blue pupils. Let me see, where are you? There is nothing to hide under the 6 eyes, and no matter how far away you can see clearly. Of course, he can see with his eyes closed. How come? It happened. Now Uchiha Itachi is 8 years old, which means this year is his time to open his eyes. He remembers that in the anime Uchiha Itachi saw his companion was killed by Uchiha Obito, and he opened 2 hooks under the stimulation. I didn't expect it to be such a coincidence that today is the mission. But what he didn't even think about was clang. Wu Jiaowu moved in a blink of an eye and suddenly appeared in front of Uchiha Itachi to block Uchiha Obito's attack. Looking at the murderous Uchiha Obito, Wu Jiaowu smiled with some effort. Not good. His slack hasn't slowed down yet. Trouble now. But how did Uchiha Itachi in the anime survive from him? The blow from Uchiha Obito just now showed no mercy. Wu Jiaowu thought suspiciously. Who are you? A flash of surprise flashed in Uchiha Obito's eyes. Who is she? How could it suddenly appear without warning? And this outfit inexplicably resembles that guy, Kakashi. Thinking of this, Uchiha Obito's eyes became more and more strange. He originally came here just to kill the mission target. Unexpectedly, the person responsible for the escort was Konoha. So, as it should be, they slaughtered all of them. All that's left is this Uchiha kid. Seeing that he was Gojo just opened his eyes, Uchiha Obito was instantly interested. Maybe this kid will be helpful for future plans. Uchiha Obito was ready to spare his life and let hatred germinate in him. Unexpectedly, he saw something that belonged to Kakashi dropped from the kid. He must be someone Kakashi looks up to. Lin was brutally killed by him, but he survived alone in Konoha and made new friends. Unforgivable. Everyone related to him will die. Just as he was about to kill the Uchiha kid, the girl who looked like Kakashi jumped out and blocked his attack. Who is she? Uchiha Obito's eyes deepened. The opposite Wu Tiaowu pretended to be calm and smiled brightly. What? Me? Under Woozy, what are you doing? He threw away the Hatake he had thought of before. Just kidding, can he use Hatake's hated surname? Blacken is 10 times stronger, and white is weaker by 3 points. He still doesn't add aggro to Uchiha Obito. Lest he explode. Wu Tiaowu fine-tuned the force state of the muscles. He was standing in front of Uchiha Itachi in a sloppy manner. The whole person revealed a calm and relaxed atmosphere. Goko. Weird name. Never heard of that, but dare to face his murderous aura so plainly. She is still the first. Obito on the opposite side was a little surprised. He threw the sword in his hand, and the black robe swayed in the wind. What is her inspiration? Interesting, but the familiar outfit and look, as well as the similar hair color, instantly caught Uchiha Obito's attention. The corners of Uchiha Obito's mouth twitched slightly under the mask. Why do you look like that person, Kakashi? It was as if he himself had put on women's clothes. It's so inconsistent. Uchiha Obito tried his best to shake the weird image out of his mind. Then he looked at Wu Jiaowu carefully. This can't be Kakashi's daughter. Wrong, not even considering age. Probably someone Kakashi knows. Friend. Thinking of this, Uchiha Obito's heart twitched suddenly, and the corner of his mouth under the mask raised a sneer. After killing Rin, Kakashi, who was hiding in Konoha, has a new friend. Opposite Wu Jiaowu keenly noticed the change in his mood. Oops, it's not beautiful. Still successful Blacken. Shouldn't Kakashi be so miserable in the last ramen competition? So much so that he summoned his former friends in his heart and gave him and Uchiha Itachi a double kill, right? It seems that people really can't do bad things. At the same time, Uchiha Itachi also walked away from the death of his companion. Looking at the murderous masked man in front of him, he said to the little girl who saved his life, "Go away. Although I don't know who this little girl is. Why come to rescue him?" But he didn't want to see anyone die in front of him anymore. He was going to step forward to cover the good-natured little girl's escape. It was his companions who fought hard for him before. Now it was his turn. Uchiha Itachi creates illusion using Ergo Jade, which is not yet very skilled. Did you make it? Stupid, everything is a decoration in front of Mangekyo. Uchiha Obito sneered coldly. It is naive to use Ergo Jade against Mangekyo. But he didn't think that the ultimate move was not here. Uchiha Itachi used his best shuriken to fire the few remaining. Whoosh! The sharp blade attacked Obito with a cold light. Uchiha Obito dodged with ease. He stood on the ground and stroked the mask on his face. The red Sharingan stared at Uchiha Itachi with interest. Ah, the gap between us is like a gulf. It's not over yet. Uchiha Itachi focused his gaze on the ground. The shuriken that had fallen before suddenly exploded with a huge explosion. And that was exactly where Uchiha Obito stood. Smoke billows up after the explosion. Did you make it? Uchiha Itachi is a little less sure. I said, the gap between us is like a gulf. Under the thick smoke, a figure gradually became clear. This man is Uchiha Obito. How come, even jumpsuit Kakuzu is not broken? The difference is so big. Although the results have been conjectured before. But after seeing the cold reality, Uchiha Itachi was still a little unwilling. I said, you are too underestimated. It's not a good thing to be so arrogant. Wu Jiaowu straightened the forehead protector to reveal his blue eyes. Well, being in love is really scary. If you don't move, it will destroy the world. Also comes with Blacken bonus. Just while they were fighting, he regained his strength. He was back on his feet again. But in time it may be. Uchiha Obito, who heard his words, smiled coldly. He looked down at Wu Jiaowu and Uchiha Itachi. Like an adult looking down on an ignorant child. Ah, I'm not interested in playing with you anymore. Let's end it soon. There are still tasks to be done later, so let's do it quickly. He has run out of patience to tease the boring kid. Fire style flurry. Uchiha Obito directly used Class B ninjutsu. He hadn't forgotten the weird way the little girl appeared. At that moment, there seemed to be a faint sense of spatial fluctuation. Let me see your confidence. Uchiha Obito uses the Mangekyo Sharingan to free Kamui. Continues to create a vortex-like twisting space and cause a strong cyclone. Then he unleashes fire style. A huge swirling wind blesses the flames to form a gust of wind. So strong. Intense flames are burning fiercely. Uchiha Itachi seemed to feel the terrifying power coming from the flames. This level of ninjutsu is simply not something he can resist now. How to do? At the same time, Wu Jiaowu was also looking at the flames in front of him. He looked calm to ultimate. He knew that the flame in the shape of a flaming snake in front of him was extremely ferocious, and could devour and burn the enemy in an instant. Whether it is speed, range or power, they are all first class, and it is a powerful fire style with extremely terrifying power. His physical strength has not recovered yet. A 5-year-old child still struggles to display his physical skills. So there is only one chance. That is to defeat the opponent's self-confidence with the most destructive tricks. This battle is not only a competition of force, but also a psychological warfare. Wu Tiaowu's azure blue eyes shone in the firelight. The brain is running at high speed analyzing data. The flames sprayed with heat waves at high speed. The huge flame engulfed Wu Tiaowu and Uchiha Itachi in an instant. It doesn't seem like that. Uchiha Obito sighed as he watched the flames burning in front of him. He was about to turn to leave but suddenly heard a sound coming from the flames. Who are you talking about? The huge flame was cut open by the black energy. The whole space seemed to be shaking constantly. Wu Tiaowu took Uchiha Itachi out of the disappearing flames. An arrogant smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were calm and dangerous. But that's it, he said pointedly. A look of shock flashed across Uchiha Obito's eyes. How could she walk out of the sea of fire so easily? And, what was that just now? Black energy hit the flames with a terrifying aura. That energy didn't seem to be of any kind he was familiar with. At the same time, Wu Jiaowu took a step forward. Hey, he said. Then the black energy that shattered the sea of fire appeared again on the right hand. This time Uchiha Obito clearly saw the energy body just now. Terrible energy. Such powerful destructive power and lethality. What exactly is this? The breath seems to be close to his space-time ninjutsu. Just by looking at it, you can clearly perceive the danger it emits. The expression on Obito's mask suddenly turned serious. He stared at Wu Jiaowu in front of him. Unexpectedly, there is such a huge amount of energy under such a weak appearance. The weak appearance is in stark contrast to the terrifying destructive power. Who is this little girl who looks like Kakashi? When did Konoha have a ninja with this ability? This energy seems to be more terrifying than what the tailed beasts gather. The entire space seemed to be easily split by it. This is not a chakra that is congealed in the flesh. In terms of energy fluctuations, it is closer to his time-space ninjutsu. At this time, Uchiha Itachi had the same shock. What is this ability? He had never seen such an attack. There is no fluctuation of chakra at all, but the power is amazing. The picture of her shattering the entire flame in the sea of fire gave him a great shock. But he didn't think she was from Konoha. Because such a conspicuous ability cannot be hidden as long as it is used. On the other side, Uchiha Obito's eyes darkened. No, there are still tasks to come. He can't go on like this. If he continues to fight like this, he will have a huge consumption. Then things won't work out. Uchiha Obito quickly made a decision. Kamui. Mangekyo turned gently with it. A distorted space suddenly appeared beside him. The figure also began to gradually disappear. I remember you, Goku. We'll see you again, he said meaningfully. Seeing that Uchiha Obito was about to disappear, Wu Jiaowu breathed a sigh of relief. Finally going. If I don't go, I'm going to be exhausted. Then the whole person became happy again. He twitched the corners of his mouth to watch the excitement and said it was a big deal. Oh yes, my full name is Hitaki Goku. Don't you forget. The black figure in the distorted space seemed to shake violently with the sound of this sentence and then disappeared. Until he's gone completely. Wu Tiaowu suddenly felt his whole body lose his strength. Just dangerous. Almost got to play. Fortunately, he was tricked. He was just bluffing just now. He's still struggling to deal with Uchiha Obito right now. Whether in terms of time or experience or whatever. There are quite a few differences. Fortunately, his magic power is still special in this world. It is closer to the essence of the soul than other energy spells. With this he managed to make Uchiha Obito think he was unfathomable. Did not continue to fight. His blow was not as powerful as it seemed. His stamina was exhausted when he used He for the first time. The incomplete He failed to show his true strength. Had to resist Uchiha Obito's ultimate. As for the second shot, it was even harder to support. The black energy in the palm seems to infiltrate. But there is no more lethality. All of this would have been discovered if Obito had taken a more cautious scrutiny. Fortunately, he still won this round. Wu Jiaowu put down the forehead protector and covered one eye again. Now is the time for him to leave. He turned around and walked slowly into the distance. Uchiha Itachi quickly noticed his movement. Wait a moment. You haven't told me your name yet. Wu Jiaowu didn't answer. His white hair swayed in the air. Only an unfathomable figure was left behind and then disappeared on the horizon. Strangeness. Who are you? Why do I feel so kind? Moreover, the departing back in front of him looked a bit familiar. Uchiha Itachi shook his head and laughed. How is this possible? I haven't seen her at all. I don't know if there will be a chance to meet again in the future. Wu Jiaowu didn't disturb anyone when he returned home. He was still lying on his back on the tree looking at the system panel. The battle was also a reminder to him. Get stronger faster. There will be more and more strong people coming out. If you don't want people to be knives, I'll be fish. Get stronger as soon as possible. Now his system panel is as follows. Host, Wu Jiaowu. World, Hokage Ninja. Unlocks the spellback power ceiling template, Gojo Satoru. Unlock percentage, 33%. Skills, 6 Eyes Completed Edition Kang Incomplete Edition He Incomplete Edition. Play points, 1200. The current unlocking degree is too low, and many skills cannot be fully displayed. It was like meeting Uchiha Obito today. You can fight to the fullest. Still have to seize the time to accumulate acting points. Meanwhile, Hokage House, Sharingan, Vortex Mask, Sarutobi Hiruzen mused. The same as what Minato said at the time before he died. The storm is coming. He looked at the photo of Minato not far away and sighed. Ha, Danzo on the opposite side sneered. Uchiha, they shouldn't have been left in the first place. Sarutobi, you are too soft-hearted. It is because of being too indecisive that Uchiha makes so many things. It would be better to kill them in the first place. It doesn't have to be the Uchiha clan. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned to look at Danzo. The Sharingan has come out, what else is there to say? Danzo said with a serious look of disdain. Uchiha are born evil. You are too prejudiced. Sarutobi Hiruzen shook his head helplessly. Being too stubborn is not a good thing. Prejudice. Danzo's eyes didn't flinch. Then you said why everyone died, only he survived. This. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a moment before continuing. What are you trying to say? Danzo's face is serious, his eyes are cold and cruel. It's all Uchiha's conspiracy. As a result, they didn't lose anything, but instead got a genius ninja who turned on Sharingan. Although from the results, it is true that they are vested, but... Sarutobi Hiruzen was interrupted by Danzo before he could finish speaking. A Uchiha who just opened his eyes as Tuguyu, you know what that means. Danzo looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen meaningfully. They looked at each other for a long time, and finally Sarutobi Hiruzen looked away first. He sighed, what do you want to do? I want that kid Uchiha Itachi, Danzo said slowly. He knew that if he asked too much, he would not be granted. What do you want that kid to do? Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at him suspiciously. What does he want the children of Patriarch Uchiha to do? Since he is involved in this matter, I need to take a closer look. Let him come here, Danzo answered vaguely. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought for a while, then shook his head in refusal. He is too young to be a root right now. Let's talk about it when he is a big one. Now that the relationship between Konoha and Uchiha is so rigid, it will inevitably be misunderstood as a signal for Uchiha's heir to enter the root. Too small. 80-year-olds can go to war, so what's so young? Danzo was very dissatisfied with Sarutobi Hiruzen's decision. He stared right at Sarutobi, asking him to give an affirmative answer. Danzo. Sarutobi shook his head helplessly. Well, after a while, his experience is almost accumulated, let him go to Anbu first. You can see him in Anbu too. Sarutobi relented. Danzo is still dissatisfied, and now he can't even control whether a person goes or stays, which makes his face even more gloomy. Sarutobi Hiruzen is still too soft-hearted, how can he manage so many people? Go, what are you doing? Uchiha Makoto looked at Wu Jiaowu with a gloomy expression, and there seemed to be a thick flame behind him. Hey, haha, I didn't do anything. Wu Jiaowu touched his nose with a guilty conscience. What's in your hand? Makoto stared sharply at the cake in Wu Jiaowu's hand. I told you not to steal it. She shouted angrily. Ha ha ha, I'll take a look. Wu Jiaowu's short white hair stood on end. Try whether it suits him or not. How can something as important as a birthday be so sloppy? The more he talked, the more slippery he was, and he almost believed it himself. Makoto looked at Wu Jiaowu with a serious explanation. However, she still had a serious expression on her face. This is what you said, don't be sloppy, then you can make 3 cakes for your birthday. It happens that there is enough time now. When they come back, you should be almost done. Makoto gestured to Wu Jiaowu with his eyes and gave him a deadline. Then took the cake in Wu Jiaowu's hand and put it on the scroll. After casting countless layers of seals, the scroll was placed in the refrigerator. Ah, that's a grade A scroll. The worth of a dignified A-grade scroll is only worth a cake. Wu Jiaowu asked suddenly, Mom, why do you put the scroll in the refrigerator too? Makoto replied shyly, this is a chance for you to try. If you can untie it, you can eat it. Just try it. Wu Jiaowu fell silent when he looked at the smiling mother with a gentle face. Such a cruel person. Wu Jiaowu glanced at the refrigerator and left the kitchen reluctantly. Hi, Sasuke. Wu Jiaowu greeted him warmly. Second brother. What do you want to do? Sasuke looked at Wu Jiaowu, who was smiling brightly, and his vigilance suddenly rose. Why is he so wrong today? This attitude towards the second brother really breaks my heart. Wu Jiaowu wiped away bitter fake tears. Ah, that's not what I meant. Sasuke was quickly fooled again. It's okay, I'm used to it. I just wanted to ask if you would like to make a cake for eldest brother together. Today is his birthday after all. It's fine if you don't want to. Wu Jiaowu turned slightly and a smug smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. I'd love to make cakes. Sasuke froze suddenly, his eyes full of confusion. Small head, big doubt. What happened? I just said a word, how did the scene turn into such a situation? I didn't seem to say anything, did I? Wu Jiaowu tried his best to suppress the smile on his face. He said solemnly, okay, then let's go. Take all precautions, or you can't escape the adult's routine. How can I gain a foothold in the ninja world after being so deceived? Let my second brother sharpen you. After seeing Orochimaru in the future, he will not be easily abducted. I don't know when you will understand. Wu Jiaowu secretly let out a long, hypocritical sigh. Big brother, can you make cakes? Sasuke asked suspiciously. Ah, I will eat cake. Wu Jiaowu said seriously after thinking for a while. Is this also possible? Aren't you going to make cakes? Sasuke looked at Wu Jiaowu with suspicious eyes. It's not. With you. Wu Jiaowu quickly swallowed the second half of the sentence and reorganized the language. Isn't this the mind? The mind is the most important. Sasuke was stunned for a moment and was successfully persuaded by this reason. Indeed it is. That's good, I'll do it for you first. He picked up all kinds of tools to start making cakes. Soon a sweet cake was successfully made. Second brother, have you learned? Sasuke turned around and asked. Well, I didn't expect Urzuzi to make cakes. It's so simple, of course there's no problem. Wu Jiaowu replied confidently. Of course he didn't lie, and soon a finished product that looked like a cake in the refrigerator appeared perfectly. How about it, isn't it perfect? Wu Jiaowu raised his eyebrows and looked at Sasuke. Well, perfect is perfect, but something strange seems to be messing in. What did the second brother just add? Soon Wu Jiaowu successfully handed Makoto a job with the finished cake. And Uchiha Itachi also quickly returned home after completing the task. Watching Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui come over, Wu Jiaowu let out a mocking laugh. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect Itachi, you are so unpopular, you won't be Shisui's friend. Uchiha Itachi gave Wu Jiaowu a funny look. Excellent also has troubles, and when you have strength, you will be isolated. Wu Jiaowu picked it up quickly, with a little seriousness and deepness on his face. It will also become arrogant. Even if the best expectations were placed at the beginning, you and I are the only brothers. As an obstacle that you must overcome, I will survive with you, even if you are hated by you. The so-called brother. Ha ha ha, Shisui, who saw this scene next to him, laughed. Itachi, your brother knows you well. Uchiha Itachi's expression suddenly turned helpless, and he shook his head and gave up his theory. For some reason, facing Wu Jiaowu, those profound words could not be uttered. Forget it, if there is an obstacle in front of him, the most likely thing Satoru will do is not to cross, but to lie down on the tree and sleep late. By the way, kid, do you owe me something? Uchiha Shisui turned to look at Wu Jiaowu after laughing, and his eyes became dangerous. Something. What? Wu Jiaowu asked innocently and strangely. Do you want me to help you recall your memories? Ramen contest. Uchiha Shisui said those 4 words through gritted teeth. Ramen competition, Wu Jiaowu said suddenly. Then. No impression. The voice was short and crisp. Uchiha Shisui laughed dangerously. Good guy. After the persecution, he has no impression. If it wasn't for the ramen boss who came to him and asked why he didn't need a free ticket, he still didn't know about it. I'll remind you again. Competition reward. Wu Jiaowu pulled a trace of memory from the corner of his mind. Ah, so it is. Oops, he really forgot. Big brother, look at him. Wu Jiaowu prepared the villain to complain first. Uchiha Itachi ignored the contest between the two and glanced at each other. Shisui asked curiously, what does he mean? Wu Jiaowu rested his chin and answered seriously. My stupid brothers. A strange look appeared on Shisui's face. I can't be my brother anyway. Bad review. Uchiha Itachi said amusingly, enough is enough for you. After the frolic, everyone came to the place to eat together. Cakes from Makoto, Wu Jiaowu and Sasuke were on the table. The Uchiha trio have been waiting for a long time. Shisui is here. A gentle smile appeared on Makoto's face. As Itachi's first and only friend, Shisui holds a high place in Makoto's heart. After greeting Uchiha Shisui, Makoto hurriedly made Itachi sit down again. Wu Jiaowu next to him said quietly, I'm here too. Soon everyone took their seats, sang the birthday song, and prepared to start dividing the cake. Sasuke, what's wrong with you? Uchiha Makoto asked suspiciously. From the very beginning he was restless, looking around as if looking at something. Forehead. Thinking of the shameless threat from the second brother, he immediately swallowed the next words. It is not that our side is not united, but that the enemy is too shameless. Facing the black photos, Uchiha Sasuke decisively chose silence. Wu Jiaowu said in cooperation, Sasuke wants to eat cake. Yes, don't worry, start dividing now. Uchiha Makoto smiled softly. Then distribute the cake to the crowd. Sasuke looked at the cake that he and his second brother were given with a shocked expression. An ugly smile appeared on his face. Does this count as harming others? Only the 2 of them. Makoto asked with concern, Sasuke, why don't you eat it? The eyes of others were also attracted. Fugaku looked at Satoru and Sasuke suspiciously. I always feel like there is something strange about these 2. Sasuke hesitantly picked up the cake despite everyone's gaze. The second brother added a lot of ingredients to this cake before. Among them was the green mustard that he hated most. By the way, the second brother was also assigned. Thinking of this, he turned to look at Wu Jiaowu next to him. I saw him tasting the cake as usual, without any reluctance at all. How could this be? Seeing Wu Jiaowu feasting on the cake, Sasuke also tasted it tentatively. How come? Exactly what a normal cake looks like. But he clearly remembered that a lot of ingredients were added here. At the same time, Fugaku also smiled and tasted the cake made by Makoto himself. How does it taste? Makoto asked expectantly. Not bad. Fugaku nodded approvingly. Really? Hearing this, Makoto rolled his eyes and laughed. Not bad, it is already the highest evaluation for this introverted man. Makoto happily divided the rest of the cake. You also have a taste of my craft. Uchiha Shisui took Makoto's cake with a smile. He picked up his fork and tasted it, then his face changed. Is this the cake that the patriarch said was not bad? Shisui swallowed the cake in his mouth with tears in the eyes of the patriarch. Then try to smile. It's not easy to be the head of a clan. Joy and anger are indistinguishable. Uchiha Itachi was keenly aware of something. He tasted it lightly and looked unmoved. The action is still so unhurried. You can't see what's going on inside him at all. Wu Jiaowu, who was next to him, also took the cake and put it aside. Not eaten straight like they do. Finally it was Sasuke's turn. He happily took the cake from his mother's hand. Then he ate it without warning. Cough cough. What does it taste like? The strong mustard taste spread in his mouth. Is this cake the one they made? But isn't this out of the scroll? His words broke the weird atmosphere just now. Moment. All relaxed and started drinking water. A look of liberation appeared on his face. The opposite Uchiha Makoto moved in his heart. Seeing this scene, she understood everything. Good guy, his cake has been replaced long ago. Just watched Sasuke staring at the strawberry cake on the table. She thought it was the piece that had the problem. In the end, I didn't expect it to be a cake that I personally took out from the scroll. No wonder they make cakes exactly like theirs. It turned out to be to steal the beam and replace the column. So, Uchiha Satoru, Makoto said in a strong tone. Although he was angry, there was a hint of pride in his eyes. So many layers of seals, thanks to him being able to unlock them all. The corners of her mouth gradually revealed a shallow arc. Not bad. As for the others, they are not as gentle as her. They stared at Wu Jiaowu badly. It was you who did it. Wu Jiaowu's bright smile gradually faded under their gaze. Hi, what's wrong? This is a birthday party, everyone should be happy, why are they so ugly? You know it's a birthday party, too, Uchiha Itachi said softly. Haha, I'm really happy. Uchiha Shisui gave Wu Jiaowu a cold smile. Then the shuriken shot by someone unknown hit the switch, cutting off all the lights. So a vigorous cake war kicked off. The lights were turned on again, but the cake hit area was not Wu Jiaowu, who had just been outraged. It was Uchiha Shisui. Uchiha Shisui was also rarely confused. Didn't everyone go for that kid just now? In the end, he was the one who suffered the most. Wu Jiaowu showed a mysterious smile. There is no difference between night and day for him. Everything is clear under the six eyes. Including the lighting master mom, Uchiha Makoto. A masterful shuriken hit the switch with precision. This operation requires delicate control and precision. Not too much force or too little force. This made him wonder about the cake topping, does she really not know? It just so happens that he and Sasuke are the one. Uchiha Fugaku coughed lightly and said, remember to clean up the house later. He and Makoto walked out slowly. Hey, is this gone? Wu Jiaowu sighed. Looking at the mess on the ground, everyone had a headache. How does this start? It's been a long time since the birthday celebration. At this time, Wu Tiaowu was lying on the tree with a bunch of three-color balls in his mouth. The sun shone on his sleepy figure. Well, today's task is to count down the 10 flaws of Hitaki Kakashi. Gone are his light-hearted days since he accidentally ascended to Genin and was assigned to Hitaki Kakashi. Working hard every day and working hard, I was facing hair loss at a young age. Wu Tiaowu let out a long sigh. Then continued to lie down. Not long after, he suddenly opened his eyes suddenly, under the blindfold, his eyes were extremely sharp. It's really hard to sleep. Wu Tiaowu got up and sat halfway on the tree. This familiar and greasy smell, you don't need to look to know who is coming. Aren't you coming out yet? He said impatiently. As soon as the voice fell, a human face slowly appeared in the trees. Orochimaru came out of the giant tree roots. Good morning, Satoru. Is this night horror theater supposed to appear in the morning? It's disgusting, don't be so nauseous. Wu Tiaowu snorted coldly. We don't know each other well. Gokun's vigilance is as good as ever. Orochimaru remained unhurried, his tone sinister and playful. Don't be so wary of me, we are not enemies. Ah. Wu Tiaowu on the tree stood up and looked down at Orochimaru not far away. Short white hair fluttered in the breeze. The entire figure appears both powerful and ethereal. What do you want to do? His voice was indifferent. Hee. Orochimaru chuckled lightly. How did you decide on my previous invitation? Uchiha Satoru, do you want to come with me? Golden pupils reflected everything in front of him. What a perfect blood follower and walk. Why did you use this word all of a sudden? Could it be, is it time for Orochimaru to defect to Konoha? Wu Tiao's azure blue eyes fluctuated. Then he folded his arms in a mocking laugh. Ha 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 ha, the slippery serpent won't be homeless anytime soon. Well, what a pity. The cold sneering tone didn't offend Orochimaru. On the contrary, it made him even more excited, and Jintong also emitted a penetrating light. He stuck out his long tongue. As expected of you, you anticipated my plans so quickly. Unlike Konoha's gang, he has yet to discover his flaws and intentions. As for Danzo, who thinks he has the victory. Think you don't know his plan? Want to kill someone after researching Hashirama cells? How stupid. The dominance of this cooperation is not in his hands. It seems that you are not ignorant either. Do you still need to stay with such a boring Konoha? Come with me. Power, knowledge. In the outside world you will find everything you want. Orochimaru continued to incite Wu Tiaowu. Thank you, no appointment. Wu Tiaowu answered quickly with the corners of his mouth raised. You are so ugly, I refuse. The setting of this kind of trafficker's tone is no longer fragrant. Besides, he has plans of his own. Then there's no way. The golden pupils suddenly filled with murderous intent, revealing an inorganic indifference. A murderous aura overflowed from him. The icy coercion made the surrounding silence. However, Wu Tiaowu, who was at the center of the coercion, did not panic at all. The current Orochimaru can't kill him. Not just because of strength. And, opposite Orochimaru, looking at Wu Tiaowu's calm attitude, a little doubt arose in his heart. How is he, still unmoved by the pressure of Sannin? It's amazing. I want people to get you more. Uchiha Satoru. Rest assured, only living life has value. You won't die easily. Orochimaru stretched out his outstretched tongue to start the seal. And Wu Tiaowu on the tree was almost waiting. Shirin said, I said, are you sure you won't leave? I'm afraid you can't be too obvious now. Hearing this, Orochimaru's heart moved, and his pupils shrank. The tone also became cold. How much do you know? What would be the win rate if the plan was rolled out earlier now? Orochimaru stared straight at Wu Tiaowu and thought about it in his heart. Forcibly ahead of schedule, he is also confident that he can leave successfully, but it will consume a little more manpower. What is the manpower compared to a Uchiha bloodline? He curled his lips to get ready. Right now, suddenly, the sound of ninja footsteps was heard in the distance. Who is it? Orochimaru's eyes narrowed. The person who came was Kakashi, who was chasing and killing Runlu's subordinates. Wu Tiaowu, who is absent 6 days a week and 1 day off, gives Kakashi a headache. When he got the news of his absenteeism again today, he did not hesitate to come out to hunt him down. Then he found it here through the tracking of the ninja beast. How are they all here? As soon as Kakashi came over, he found Wu Tiaowu, a habitual offender, and Orochimaru, one of the Sannins, facing off here. Yo, Kakashi. Wu Tiaowu on the tree waved to Kakashi enthusiastically. Ha ha, are you happy? Kakashi's expression suddenly changed. Why are you absent from work today? Today, Wu Tiaowu held his chin and thought for a moment. I'm lost on the road of life, so I'm late, not absent from work. On the road of life. Thank you for daring to say it. Learned. What a good reason. The corners of Kakashi's mouth twitched slightly under the mask. Quite speechlessly, he looked at Wu Tiaowu in front of him. At the same time, Orochimaru next to him looked at the interaction between the two with complicated eyes. Is that why he was so resolute just now? Coincidentally, Kakashi came to look for him at this time. Or is it all in his calculations? Orochimaru didn't feel the slightest panic of being seen through. Instead, he was as excited as if he had met a confidant who met his opponent. Interesting. It's been a long time since I felt so interesting. Compared with Uchiha's natural blood power, it is obviously more interesting to see the brain that sees everything. The human body can be transformed and blood vessels can be superimposed, but true knowledge is absolute and unchangeable. Uchiha Satoru, even if you don't admit it, you are not destined to stay in Konoha for long. Because we are the same kind of people. Orochimaru smiled and turned away. He brushed Kakashi's shoulder without squinting and walked away. I wasn't interested in taking a look at any part of the way. Forcibly remodeled defective products are not worth seeing. It is better to spend more time observing the intact fruit. Kakashi looked at Orochimaru, who completely ignored him, and his exposed eyes suddenly turned cold. Are you being underestimated? Yo, Kakashi, didn't expect you to worship Orochimaru. Wu Tiaowu jumped down from the tree and laughed. Worship Orochimaru? What, are you kidding? Kakashi glanced at Wu Tiaowu indifferently. This incompetent subordinate, or destroy it. There is no need to exist. This is today's task. You do it on your own. Kakashi threw a scroll to Wu Tiaowu. In fact, it should have been done by a group of 3 people. However, Kakashi decided to make it a little harder for this kid who likes to skip work. After he finished speaking, he also turned and left. As a strong man in Anbu, he is different from the kid in front of him, and he has a lot of work every day. Wu Tiaowu turned over the scroll in his hand with no energy. It's nothing new at all. With just one glance, the general task content was already imprinted in his mind. Let's get up to Jonin, he muttered to himself. At that time, all the work will be pushed to the subordinates. Such a happy decision. Wu Tiaowu folded his hands together and quickly made a decision. Hurry up to gain experience and level up to the Jonin level. When Orochimaru returned to the lab again, the 2 root people have been waiting again for a long time. Master Danzo wants the latest experimental data. The masked man said coldly. Huh, Orochimaru snorted coldly. It will take a few more days. Lord Danzo wants it now. The masked man still insisted. Orochimaru didn't speak and just looked at him coldly. The golden pupil suddenly exuded a deadly murderous aura. A terrifying pressure filled the masked man tightly, making him breathless. Not everyone deserves his patience. People without value have no need to exist. His expression became colder and crueler. Then, there were 2 screams in the dark laboratory. Orochimaru sneered with a sneer while withdrawing his gaze from the 2 of them. Danzo, it's been almost 2 days. I didn't have the vision and measure to control my ambition, and I tried to climb up to that position. Is this a common human disease? Orochimaru's mutiny came quickly. Wu Tiaowu, who had just finished the task and was about to go home, quickly heard the news. Human experiments, disappearances of children, and other incidents spread all over the streets. All of a sudden, Orochimaru, one of the respected Sanins, turned into a traitor that everyone shouted at. Well, that guy runs really fast. No wonder I'm so anxious today. Also, 3rd generation didn't catch the student as in the anime. It's likely to be soft-hearted. After all, the strength of cage level is not something that Orochimaru today can resist. It's just that he's soft-hearted and let go of him now, and he won't have a chance in the future. Wu Tiaowu shook his short white hair. Not too concerned. He focused on another point. Another big event after Orochimaru's defection, the night of Uchiha's extermination. The 3rd generation can relent and let Orochimaru go, but it won't let go of the Uchiha family. Now Orochimaru's defection is also a good thing. At least it can divert the eyes of Danzo and 3rd generation. They had their eyes on Uchiha for too long. It's nice to have something to distract your attention now. Wu Jiaowu pondered for a moment, then picked up a bunch of 3-color balls and continued to walk home. Meanwhile, the Hokage office. Danzo pointedly said, I love my apprentice so much. A character like you can even miss out. I will also fully assist in the capture of Orochimaru. I will do my best for Konoha. Missed. How is this possible? Disregarding the interests of the village for the sake of his apprentices. Such a soft-hearted, indecisive person can master Konoha. Orochimaru must die. He knows too much. Thinking of this, his eyes became deeper and colder. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face suddenly turned black, and his voice was no longer warm. Sorry for bothering you. The next day, Wu Jiaowu walked down the street with 3-color balls in his mouth. Along the way, you can also hear everyone's noisy discussions. I didn't expect Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, to do such a thing. It seems to be a human experiment, which is really inhumane. Obviously they are all from the same village, why did he do this? The traitor who betrayed the village, hurry up and catch him. It's that he knows so much information in the village, so he can't be allowed to escape. Hey, look at that person, is that Orochimaru's apprentice Mitarashi Anko? Mitarashi Anko. Seems like it is. Oh, Orochimaru's apprentice. Then do you think she knows about this? Since she wasn't taken away, she probably didn't participate. Even though he said that, everyone's eyes suddenly changed. His eyes flickered at Mitarashi Anko. At this moment, Mitarashi Anko was sitting alone on a bench in the corner. He seemed to be still sobbing. Hey, what are you doing? A figure suddenly appeared in front of Mitarashi Anko. Mitarashi Anko raised his head and looked at Wu Jiaowu. It's him. Teachers keep an eye on students. No, not a teacher anymore. Yo, you're crying, Wu Jiaowu said lightly. Hearing this, Mitarashi Anko glared at Wu Jiaowu angrily. Little devil, are you here to laugh at me too? Hey, do I look like I'm busy? Wu Jiaowu shook his white hair and asked back. Mitarashi Anko held back his tears and scolded, then what are you doing here? Didn't you see me crying? Who is this? Seeing others cry and join in the fun. Do you really think I can't spank children? You can't come over when you're crying. Wu Jiaowu yawned and answered lazily. This is his exclusive workplace, okay. Such good sun and light. It must be comfortable to dry. Pity, or look elsewhere. Anko, who was beside him, laughed angrily at him. Put away the tears and stop crying. Hey kid. Anko opened his mouth to say something. I was attracted by the three-color ball in front of me. No, send it to you. Wu Jiaowu handed the extra string of three-color balls to Mitarashi Anko. Then slowly walked away. Mitarashi Anko slowly raised the corners of his mouth while looking at the three-color ball in his hand. Is this the kind of tenderness that comes from being awkward? 3 years later, Wu Jiaowu successfully entered Anbu and became one of them. But it may be because of repeated horizontal jumps on the bottom line every time. Danzo looked at him like a vermin, and wished he would be swept out of the house immediately and never to be seen again. Ah, aren't you so uncomfortable? Kakashi looked a little confused. Are you sure you don't want to take off the blindfold? Is this weird way of wearing a blindfold and a mask really feasible? The eye patch is the body. Of course not. After wearing the mask, Wu Jiaowu rejected Kakashi's suggestion briskly. How could he lose such a fashionable setting? A look of helplessness appeared on Kakashi's face across from him. Even after getting along for a long time, he still couldn't understand Wu Jiaowu. Okay, hurry up, Lord Hokage has something for us, he urged. Wu Jiaowu shook his white hair, it won't be another meeting. Pity, the sun is so good today, which is perfect for a good night's sleep. The two of them made their way to Hokage's office. Third generation slowly raised its head after hearing the footsteps of the two of them. You are here. Then, with a serious look on his face, he started today's topic. Orochimaru has several secret research facilities in the country. You know that. Yes, Kakashi replied flatly. Wu Jiaowu didn't say anything but nodded sloppily. He had already guessed what third generation would say later. If he really wanted to deal with this matter, he shouldn't have been soft-hearted in the first place. It's really not acceptable to always start remedying things after you've done them. Under the blindfold, Wu Jiaowu's blue eyes became deep and long. The starlight in his eyes seemed to be able to see the fate of the universe. Third generation paused and continued. Orochimaru destroyed some of them before escaping the village, while others were left untouched, including what we don't know. Kakashi nodded, it seems so. At that time their pursuit was very close. Orochimaru doesn't have much time to deal with these places. Third generation's gaze became long, and he sighed deeply. The team on the previous mission happened to find a facility of unknown purpose. According to the report after the team returned, it should be one of the research facilities abandoned by Orochimaru. It has been 3 years since Orochimaru defected from the village, but his negative legacy is still a headache to this day. Now I can only ask you, what has Orochimaru been doing over the years? Maybe I shouldn't have. Hope they can find out this time. Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi accepted the entrustment from third generation. Meanwhile, the root base. Candles flickered in the dim hallway. Danzo was standing at the end of the corridor in a gloomy air. A bandage was wrapped around his head to cover one of his eyes. He turned slowly to look at the two root members who were on one knee. My pupils are exhausted. Go find a replacement for my eye. He lifted the bandage, and the red Sharingan appeared on his face. For him, Sharingan is a disposable consumable that is thrown away after use. Even the Uchiha clan, the holders of the Sharingan, gradually lose pupil power with each use. Eventually lost its light, not to mention his eyes. It doesn't have much pupil power anymore. He needs a new living Sharingan. After hearing his words, one of the root members looked up at Danzo, then lowered his head again. The other remained motionless. If you want to attack the Uchiha people, you need careful preparation, the root member said. Danzo shook his head, not necessarily Uchiha. It's good to have one person. He continued. Someone who had no parent-teacher and killed a friend had a Sharingan. Hitaki Kakashi. A look of surprise flashed across one of the root's members' faces upon hearing his description. Danzo continued. By the way, if you have the chance, bring me the eyes of the kid next to him, Uchiha Satoru. Uchiha Satoru. Oh, this is the first time in my life that someone dares to run wild in front of me. I want your eyes, as your disrespectful price. Thinking of Wu Jiaowu calling him a rotten orange, Danzo felt a burst of anger in his heart. Being young and frivolous has a price. After Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi left the Hokage office, another person came here as well. It was Danzo who came. He walked in slowly and asked in a deep voice, I heard that you discovered Orochimaru's stronghold. Although this sentence is asking about Sarutobi Hiruzen, the affirmative attitude has proved it all. He already knew about the exposure of the Orochimaru stronghold. Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't mind his attitude. Where there is light, there is darkness. Light and darkness are inseparable. The only way to balance is to take care of both. This is also the law of Konoha survival. He put down his pen and looked up at Danzo. Yes, it is the research facility left by that guy. I have sent someone to investigate. Orochimaru, his incompetent apprentice. Even when he left, he did not forget to trouble him. But why did he suddenly care about this? That's it. Danzo's eyes changed slightly, then he let out a long sigh. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Danzo with a worried look. Danzo, are you worried? It's rare to see him showing such emotions. Danzo's eyes flickered and he shook his head, as if asking casually. Although it is an abandoned research facility, it is impossible to guarantee that there are no traps left in it. I wonder if the investigator is reliable. Sarutobi Hiruzen smiled. It's two very reliable juniors. Although one is a novice. But the mission success rate is particularly high. Plus another is an experienced ninja. They'll have no problem cooperating. Newbie. Mission success rate. This should be Uchiha Satoru. He is also the newest member to join Anbu with a very high quest completion rate. At first, he thought about recruiting him into the route, but who knows? Thinking of this, Danzo's face suddenly turned ashen. He took a deep breath and his eyes were deep and cold. It doesn't matter, his eyes are mine right now. Meanwhile Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi arrived at Orochimaru's abandoned stronghold shortly after departure. Darkness, dampness and lack of light are really Orochimaru's taste. Wu Jiaowu puffed out his cheeks and looked at it with disgust. Well, fortunately, I didn't listen to Orochimaru's nonsense. That's what it was all about. The heart of playing tactics is really dirty, deceiving innocent people. Come on, our mission is inside. Kakashi interrupted Wu Jiaowu in time and did not let him continue to investigate further. They walked to the door of the laboratory, which was affixed with a seal. Solution. Kakashi silently performed ninjutsu. Then he walked over and reached out to break the seal. Wait a minute, Wu Jiaowu interrupted him calmly. What's wrong? Kakashi turned to look at him suspiciously. He has also teamed up with Wu Jiaowu several times. Although it is very popular, he is also very reliable occasionally. But the seal is like an old woman's foot binding cloth, you never know what the next second will taste like. Wu Jiaowu's mouth evoked a sloppy and lazy arc. There was no direct response to him. Kakashi's slightly closed eyes flashed a hint of helplessness. Well, he sometimes only reminds him secretly, and then stands aside to watch the show. Kakashi thought deeply and took 2 steps back. The shuriken disappeared from his fingertips and appeared in front of the door to successfully open the seal. Boom! After a loud bang, smoke and flames rose instantly. Really? Kakashi turned his head and looked at Wu Jiaowu next to him with helpless and complicated eyes. Can't you just say something? Well, If he just didn't believe it or didn't care, he wouldn't be standing by and laughing at him again. No doubt, this guy is such a bad character. While Kakashi was sighing, the explosion also allowed him to successfully discover a person. Who? Kakashi's voice suddenly turned cold. Long time no see, Kakashi. A man with a mask appeared in the corner. First, hearing this voice, Kakashi's face suddenly showed a look of surprise. Although the shape of the person in front of him has changed and he has grown a lot taller, he still recognizes him at a glance. This young man who once had a relationship with him, fought together, and also met with each other, eh? Why are you here? His voice suddenly fell. Kakashi didn't give up his guard because he was an acquaintance, but looked at him suspiciously. A ninja is all about enduring everything and doubting everything. There is a task. The opposite A is still calm and composed. Kaido. Task. Hearing this, Kakashi thought for a while. Is this to support me? No, he's from Danzo. Impossible to come to support me. What is he doing here? It's Mr. Danzo. He also wanted to investigate Orochimaru's research facility on his own, so Pagan came. Kakashi looked up at the silent armor opposite. The eyes of the armor under the mask dodged a little while he was silently facing Kakashi's eyes. The atmosphere of silence spread for a long time without anyone making a sound. Suddenly, Kakashi's blue veins popped up and helplessly raised his head to look at Wu Jiaowu, who was walking back and forth between him and Ja. What are you doing? Sometimes I really want to break open this guy's head to see what's inside. Paste. If Sasuke heard his heart at this moment, he would definitely reply at this moment. Not the paste but the tomato juice. Ha 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 ha, let me see who of you persists longer. After Wu Jiaowu observed Kakashi, he went to Jia's place to look around. It turns out that this is what Yamato looked like when he was a child. Standard root mask and suit added body. There is also a hair that is as long as the original plot. Well, it's pretty cute. Kakashi looked at Wu Jiaowu, who was hiding behind a with his head popping out. His face suddenly turned black, and there seemed to be a concrete tic-tac-toe on his forehead. You kid, give me some seriousness. Show some attitude. He scratched his head and looked helplessly at the opposite armor. Although but his strength is reasonable. Ignore him. Under the mask looked a little surprised when Wu Jiaowu jumped out in front of him. Is there such a person in Anbu too? It doesn't look like someone in the dark at all. So young, like a child. Why does Lord Danzo want his eyes? I do this, does it make sense? When Ja was in deep thought, Wu Jiaowu shook his white hair and ended his observation. Then, he said suddenly, by the way, aren't you the one who came to hunt me down? That guy Danzo seems to have been looking at me for a long time. But he can't kill me, ha 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 ha. There was something unfriendly about the content of the words. The blue eyes under the blindfold were full of smiles. Well, sorry, let me excite you. Who made your character too stubborn? He really didn't know if Danzo had given orders to hunt him down. But this time he was supposed to want Kakashi's eyes. Since sooner or later we will face Danzo. Let's dig up his capable man now. Anyway, it will be poached later, it is better to let this time come earlier. He's very good at digging Danzo corners. Wu Jiaowu's words made Kakashi's face suddenly heavy. He said seriously, don't make such a joke to your companion casually. Are you kidding again? This kind of thing is not funny at all. Being in the dark, he understands better than anyone that trust is hard to come by, and he doesn't want to be tainted with the blood of any of his comrades. At this time, Ja was already shocked by Wu Jiaowu's words. The whole person also began to become tense. Did he notice it? So sharp, how to do? But if it's an enemy, it's better to kill him. Wu Jiaowu still maintained a bright smile. He's that bad-hearted old man, and he won't lose money if he kills him. There was a certain murderousness in the words. Moment. The atmosphere started to get heavy. Hearing this, Kakashi took 2 steps forward. His eyes gradually sharpened. The attitude of the whole person is full of seriousness. Wu, companions are not used to arbitrarily suspect and kill. I will never let my companions die in front of me. Strangeness. Did he really think so? Why is he so weird today? Wu Jiaowu stroked the blindfold on his head and nodded. This is too beautiful to say. Refuse to accept, my character is the most handsome. At the same time, A's heart began to shake. How could such a Kakashi senpai do such a thing? How could it be possible to kill one's own comrade? But Lord Danzo won't lie to him. How could Lord Danzo, the root of Konoha, weave such a lie to deceive him? Yes, that's right. The confusion in his eyes turned into firmness again. At this time, he also gave up the plan to pretend. I'm sorry, Kakashi-senpai. He drew out his sword and swung forward quickly. Bang! Kakashi pulled out the sword behind him and blocked it. There was a hint of surprise in his eyes. What are you doing, eh? Did he really intend to kill them? Got caught up in Satoru again. What answered him was an equally sharp sword. Didn't your companion guess it just now? Jaw slashed his sword hard. A struggle flashed through his heart, but the movements of his hands remained firm. Hey, that's a joke. Wu Tiaowu scratched his head and said innocently. I didn't expect that old man Danzo would actually seek revenge for the black people. He secretly hacked a Danzo. No, it can't be called black, it can only be said to be good advice. Is it appropriate to still watch a play now? Kakashi said speechlessly. Although he really didn't need Wu Tiaowu to take action. This is his battle with A. Are you serious? Kakashi dodged the sword light just now. A. Is he really ready to kill his comrades? Kakashi wasn't completely alert before either. But it's a little hard to accept that things actually happen in front of them. Seriously. He slashed sideways, sending Kakashi's sword flying. Then continued to intensify the offensive. Sudden. Wood-style ninjutsu emerges from the ground. Attacked Kakashi at this moment. Countless vines immediately entangled him. Out of the corner of A's light, he looked at Wu Tiaowu, who had not yet shot. How? Isn't he going to make a move yet? Just this moment. The figure who was bound to death just now suddenly turned into white smoke and disappeared into the air. A row of hidden weapons hit his arm, and the tip of the shuriken pointed straight to the back of his neck. Why did you kill me? Kakashi sighed and asked a question that he felt a little silly. Any reason other than Danzo's Syria attacking them suddenly? Root. Is it finally time to liquidate him? He had thought of this day when he reported Danzo's conspiracy to third generation earlier. What right do you have to ask that? What qualifications do people who kill their companions have to say these two words? I shouted out the truth that Lord Danzo told him. There was a hint of guilt in his voice that only he knew. Lord Danzo should not lie. Kakashi's face changed suddenly. The breath all over his body suddenly stagnates. Wild Lin. He thought of that day, that picture. Wu Tiaowu, who had not spoken for a long time, walked over. He looked at the armor that was already under control. Do you think Kakashi looks like someone who's a hand-sword companion? If he really did, why did he defend you before? Ja tilted his head slightly, and it was this person who cheated him out just now. He now also reflects that Wu Tiaowu said that on purpose. Isn't his companion dead at his hands? A is still very unconvinced said. Those who betray Konoha and kill their companions will die. Lord Danzo is not wrong. Wu Tiaowu is very good at grasping the key points. So that's what the Rotten Orange said. Then this mission. Did you mention killing me? Wu Tiaowu's voice suddenly turned cold. Do you think I'm dead? Before he changed, he was sloppy and lazy. The look became serious. Hearing this, A's expression became a little moved and confused. The reason given for killing Kakashi Danzo-sama is that he was a betrayer of Konoha. He used to kill his comrades. However, the reason for killing Uchiha Satoru, Danzo-sama, has never been revealed. Just when I wanted to say something, kunai with 3 shots attached to the detonating talisman attacked the 3 with the wind. Be careful. Kakashi shoved the armor away, and then followed closely behind to dodge the attack. Kakashi, you're so boring. Just take care of the armor. Wu Tiaowu, who easily avoided kunai, said jokingly. Then, explosion sounded in this abandoned laboratory. Thick smoke rose. Several figures followed along with the thick smoke. Do it. The voice fell. They went straight to Kakashi and Wu Tiaowu. He ignored A, who was almost killed by them just now. A looked at all this in confusion. Did Kakashi save him just now? Why, A, what are you still doing? The person at the root said in doubt when he saw that he was still in a daze. Come on, keep up. Kill the traitor of this hand-knife companion. First, are you going to betray Gen? Betray Lord Danzo? Seeing A who hasn't moved yet, the person at the root urged loudly. Forehead. Root. Lord Danzo. Everything Danzo-sama said must be true. Why do we, who are Konohagen, have to kill ye and kill each other? Are we not companions? A's eyes are full of confusion about the world. For a long time, the confusion faded, and the firmness returned to the eyes again. He did not hesitate to follow them back to the battlefield. But, wood style, tree boundary wall, shouted. Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi were protected by a shield of multiple wooden vines that quickly grew on the ground. He didn't look back but just left his back to them. Then whispered, Kakashi-senpai, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you before. You guys go quickly. Kakashi-senpai wouldn't be the kind of person who betrayed his comrades. Danzo-sama must have misunderstood. The other members of the root blocked them all and said condescendingly. Are you determined to betray Gen? You are the root of the root, have you forgotten? They indignantly accuse of betrayal. Tisk, what a pity. You have lost even your ego. He is not the root of the root, but the root of the Konoha. Wu Jiaowu said slowly. Not to mention these members won him, even Kakashi and the others may not be able to stop him. I was shocked when he heard this sentence. Konoha, the root. Yes, he is the root of Konoha. Roots and leaves are partners that cannot be separated from each other. Under the mask, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, revealing a faint smile. I didn't expect Kakashi-senpai's companion to have such an understanding. At first, he only thought that Wu Jiaowu was still a young boy. Then, his murderous rhetoric shattered the initial impression of a teenager. Transformed into a ninja in the dark. A standard brutal ninja. Don't care about companions and others, just aim to achieve the mission. Now, he has a very different point of view. Acts of darkness are only for a brighter future. Ja turned his head to look at Wu Jiaowu, who was looking aside, with complexity and appreciation in his eyes. He is more like the root of Konoha, carrying strength and supporting the entire tree. At this time, Wu Jiaowu didn't know what was in his heart. If he had known, he would have immediately refuted this terrible conjecture in a shocked tone. Just when they were deadlocked. With a loud bang, the laboratory began to shake violently. Boom, clap, countless pieces of glass shattered. Countless heavy objects collapsed suddenly. What's the matter? I asked suspiciously. Probably the chain reaction caused by the explosion just now. Wu Jiaowu couldn't see any expression on his face with the blindfold on. The way they used the kunai detonating talisman when they attacked before. But this is a snake cave, and it has been abandoned for many years, and its structure is unstable. Pick up the explosive symbol and blow it up, and naturally there will be some collapsed places. Something's coming. His voice was so quiet that he couldn't hear any ups and downs. What? After Kakashi and I heard this, they all looked around cautiously. Swipe. Several shuriken flew towards them. The people at the root hurried over to shorten the encirclement. Isn't that what Satoru said? Kakashi doubted for a moment and then shook his head. It doesn't always feel like this. Boom boom boom. With the arrival of a giant, countless instruments and things were knocked over. A giant python was entrenched on their heads. Fizz. What is this? Monster. The man at the root screamed and was swallowed by the giant python. Isn't this Orochimaru's son? Wu Jiaowu sighed when he looked at the 20-person tall giant python. Stop joking, he's eyeing us. Golden pupils stared straight at the remaining three. Eyes belonging to snakes are cold and emotionless. I'm holding on, you go. Or resorted to wood style in an attempt to restrain it. Unfortunately, with his current strength, he could not subdue this giant python. Don't underestimate your senior, Kakashi said coldly. His eyes fixed on the big snake in front of him. Chidori. Kakashi's right hand emitted blue lightning and rushed to the 7-inch position of the giant snake. The serpent swayed and attacked desperately, as if sensing the fatal danger. Every blow carries an incomparably powerful force. This makes it difficult for Kakashi to target positions. A's control gradually became weaker. Everyone is very motivated. Then all help. Wu Jiaowu evoked a bright smile, and then several flying bodies appeared above the snake's head. The wind blew his white hair swaying constantly, and the blue pupils under the blindfold flashed a smile. He stretched out his hand and looked at the big snake under his feet. Chapter 31. Sweep sweep. Countless shuriken attacked Orochi's eyes. Eyes are also a vulnerability of snakes. Roar. Roar. The serpent made a loud cry. Pain and danger made the snake violently turn its long body. 7 inches of fatal weakness also inadvertently forgot to reveal the protection. Found it. Kakashi's voice carried a rare joy. Right here. Chidori. Blue lightning appeared in his hands again. The destructive Chidori slammed into the giant python. The serpent used the last of his life to shake it fiercely. Then, boom, with a loud bang, the big snake collapsed to the ground. Success, Kakashi said lightly. A slight smile appeared on the face under the mask. It worked. Then his eyes suddenly dimmed. Goodbye, Kakashi, Uchiha Satoru. Let's go. He put on his mask and turned to leave. Where are you going, eh? Kakashi stopped. He knows the rules of the route the most. Abandoning past and future, without names, memories, emotions, this is the root ninja. They will never forgive those who fail to complete their tasks or even betray their roots. He might never come back once he's gone. Thinking of this, Kakashi's eyes became complicated. Smiled and said softly, the root is where I belong, and I don't know where to go except it, I can only go there. Besides, Lord Danzo won't necessarily do anything to me. This is not only to comfort them, but also to comfort myself. Do I still have a sense of existence here? Wu Jiaowu took out a 3-color ball from somewhere and put it in his mouth. Forget what you just said, and ignore the seniors too much. By the way, when did you become a senior? Kakashi looked at Wu Jiaowu speechlessly. Just as I was thinking about it, I was interrupted by this guy. Of course it's Anbu. However, I went in first then of course, senior. Wu Jiaowu yawned and continued to meditate. Anbu. First, Kakashi suddenly thought of something and looked at Wu Jiaowu. It was a really good idea to have A in Anbu. Danzo's hands can't get any longer than Hokage. After he finished speaking, he pulled the forehead protector to cover one of his eyes. Hearing his words, Wu Jiaowu shook his head. It's not a day or two for Danzo to cross the Hokage either. When 4th Hokage just died and the 3rd generation came back to power, Danzo had already begun to prepare to assassinate 3rd Hokage to succeed in usurping the throne. What I said about the root of Konoha. Wu Jiaowu looked at the two suspiciously. Y'all forget. I hesitated for a long time and said slowly, I thought you were just describing it. Kakashi also looked at Wu Jiaowu with the same eyes as A. Both of them covered their faces at this time, so they couldn't see any emotions. At first I just thought it was used to describe the relationship between Konoha, but I didn't expect it to mean this. The bright smile on Wu Jiaowu's face, who understood their eyes, was a little stiff. I don't see it, the two of you are quite poetic. It is quite abstract. His words are the roots of Konoha. What an obvious meaning. It is to let them find the 3rd generation and become the people under Hokage. As a result, they seem to be thinking in some strange places. Wood-style ninjas are of great significance to the entire Konoha Shinobi village. It's Konoha Shinobi village's dream. High-level executives have been willing to conduct high-stakes experiments in order to obtain this power. It can also restrain the Jinchuriki-tailed beast from running wild. 3rd Hokage must be more than willing to provide shelter. By the way, how much is a wood-style ninja worth? Wu Jiaowu looked at Jia in front of him and fell into thought. If a person can resell 3 times, can he get 3 bounties? Get rich. Shaw got chills when Wu Jiaowu stared at him. Why is the senior looking at me so strange? He easily accepted the senior reason proposed by Wu Jiaowu. What are you thinking? Let's go. Kakashi glanced at Wu Jiaowu who was lost in thought. This cave can't stay longer. Maybe it will collapse at any time. Then he turned and walked out of the snake cave. Konoha, Hokage office. Sarutobi Hiruzen is reviewing documents. Right now. Kakashi and his party came over to report the mission. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked up a little surprised that they brought a strange ninja. Lord Hokage, this former member of Gen A. Kakashi said quietly. Root. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked over in confusion. How did they bring the root people over on a mission? Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly felt that something was wrong. He began to listen seriously to Kakashi's report on the mission. Quote. The above is the whole process of this mission. Kakashi methodically reported what happened to Sarutobi Hiruzen. I see. Sarutobi Hiruzen was silent for a while and then continued. I can't believe so many things happened to you. How much has Danzo been hiding from him in recent years? Light and dark are inherently coexisting. That's why he can tolerate Danzo all the time. After all, everyone is for Konoha. But what he's doing now is a bit too much. Thinking of this, he slowly moved his gaze to Jia's body. Is this the kid who was hidden? Wood-style ninja. Konoha is now lacking such a power. Naruto is now 6 years old and the Nine Tails is more likely to run wild as he gets older. And Wood-style is one of the forces that can suppress the outbreak of Nine Tails. Good boy, you will be the root of Konoha from now on. If that's the case, it should have a name. Harmony is the general meaning of peace, harmony, and harmony. It can also be regarded as having small harmony, neutrality, and Yamato. Peace is small harmony, and harmony can be called neutrality. Only harmony is Yamato. How about the name Yamato? Sarutobi Hiruzen said with a warm look. Is it Yamato? Hearing the origin of the name, I suddenly felt an indescribable emotion in his heart. He nodded silently and then raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Wu Tiaowu stood aside casually watching Ja, whose mood changed, and shook his head. This old man has 2 strokes. No wonder it's someone who can become Hokage. Understand the art of speaking. A few days later, Wu Tiaowu walked to the meeting place with the 3 color balls in his mouth. I said new, why are you so slow? The man wearing a ninja costume with a woolen head said impatiently. He is Naoya Kuchiki, the captain of this mission. Originally, he had an opinion on this new colleague who came to Anbu. Why would Anbu let an 8-year-old in easily? At the age of 8, it would be good to be a genin at the age of 8. What qualifications does he have to enter here at the age of 8? This is not a child playing a house, but a real death. I hope he's sensible and doesn't hold them back. Then, I never thought that Wu Tiaowu would be late on the first day of the task. This made him even more irritable, who was already impatient. Don't be in such a hurry, the time is just right now. Wu Tiaowu said slowly with a slap in the face. It's so annoying, I've been promoted and I won't have a job. As a result, there were more tasks than expected. Is this pitting yourself? He thought about it as he took the last bite of the ball. Seeing this scene, the captain's face darkened. It's on a mission now, you have to show some energy. Anbu had never seen anyone like him. Naoya Kuchiki exuded an unpleasant breath. Okay, Captain. Sato Kyoto smiled at the side. You haven't elaborated on this mission yet. In fact, no need for the captain to say, everyone also knows the content of their tasks. But in order to divert Kuchiki Naoya's attention, let's ask again. Kuchiki pressed his forehead to hold back his emotions. Our mission is, in short, this task is not difficult, everyone can be careful. He finally added a sentence to boost everyone's morale. After speaking, everyone nodded in unison. At this time, Wu Tiaowu also cooperated to keep up with the formation. However, Kuchiki Naoya immediately fell into a headache when he saw that he was far from the other Anbu members in height and completely different style of painting. It always feels like this kid is going to be a problem next. Hope the next task goes well. Their task this time is very simple, that is, hand the scroll to the task target. They don't care about other things. So the atmosphere in the team was relatively relaxed. Kuchiki Naoya, who had been rushing for a while, said suddenly after observing his surroundings. It's about to reach the open area ahead, everyone rests and replenishes on the spot. After hearing this, everyone started to replenish their physical strength. Are you really 8 years old? Sato Kyoto, who was resting, suddenly asked Wu Jiaowu next to him. Why does he look younger than his younger brother who is still in school? How did he get into Anbu at such a young age? Genius. It's really not obvious. Looks exactly like a small child. Not as dark as Anbu should be. Can he really adapt to Anbu's life? Sato Kyoto lowered his eyes and thought to himself. The uncle who likes to drink strawberry milk doesn't look like 30. Wu Jiaowu said quietly. Then he glanced at the incongruous picture in a complicated way. The burly, sturdy and handsome uncle drank quietly while holding a box of strawberry milk. Is this the adult world? It's so terrifying. Then he looked up at the sky again. At the current rate of progress on this task, there should be time to wait until it's over. Wait, what is this? Wu Jiaowu came out of his thoughts and suddenly realized that something was wrong. Under the 6 eyes, he seemed to have discovered something strange. Could it be that, at the same time, the opposite Sato Kyoto is still immersed in the shock just now? Uncle, 30. Those 2 words hurt him badly. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Does he look old? He was only 16. In the end he shook his head helplessly. Right now, Wu Jiaowu pushed Sato Kyoto, who was beside him, away, and quickly retreated behind him. Boom! As Wu Jiaowu and Sato Kyoto retreated, a huge explosion suddenly occurred in the resting place before them, and a figure jumped out of the smoke. This person was one of the ninjas who were about to attack them. The person who came was very burly and sturdy, with light-colored hair messy like a mane, and powerful muscles under the white skin. His ferocious eyes were filled with incredible. Then he looked at Wu Jiaowu with a solemn look, and his expression was filled with annoyance at the failure of Sis' plan. How did this guy find out about me? Is it a coincidence? He has successfully assassinated many great ninjas with this stealth technique. I didn't expect it to fail today. Still defeated by an 8-year-old child. Cannot accept. He didn't go into battle to find someone to fight like the few ninjas behind him did. Instead, he stared at Wu Jiaowu and asked questions. Boy, how did you find me just now? Wu Jiaowu on the opposite side ignored him, but tidied up his clothes slowly. I didn't estimate the power well, so I still put too many detonating symbols. It's so dusty now. What a misstep. Then he found the 3 color balls that were unfortunately blown off the ground. Quote. This is my favorite flavor. Now, gone. He was silent for a moment and suddenly raised his head. If it weren't for this person, how did you find out? Is this kind of thing still worth discovering? The terrain here is so special that people hiding in the woods can clearly observe the outside. There is no better place to hide an ambush. So I left the detonating talisman spree. I didn't expect someone to actually get it by themselves. Wu Jiaowu changed his usual lazy appearance, and suddenly taunted with extremely strong combat power. The aura of the whole person has undergone earth-shaking changes in an instant. Is this the power of the 3 color balls? Sato Kyoto, who was beside him, sighed silently. At the same time, the 6 paths chi machine blocked Wu Jiaowu's upper, lower, left, right, front, and back, 6 directions. Shuriken. Wu Jiaowu listened to the sound of the wind, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. The sound of the hidden weapon passing through is so smooth, without the slightest fluctuation or resistance, it doesn't look like it has a detonating talisman attached. Uncle, times have changed. This kind of hidden weapon without a detonating talisman can't kill anyone. Before Sato Kyoto could exclaim, Wu Jiaowu turned around and flew up, throwing out the hidden weapon in his hand. Bump bump. The dazzling hidden weapons kept colliding in the air. A cold light flashed in an instant. The hidden weapon that flew over before miraculously bounced back along the original trajectory. Then, boom, a violent explosion resounded in everyone's ears. After the smoke cleared, the ninja who launched the sneak attack while he was talking with the light-haired ninja fell to the ground. There was a hint of surprise in the expression of Sato Kyoto, who was fighting beside him. The image of the immature boy just now cracked. He seems to. Not quite what I imagined. The light-haired ninja opposite was also a little surprised. I didn't expect this young kid to have 2 strokes. But, he is different from the third-rate ninja just now. He stared at the white-haired boy not far away, with cold light and murderous intent coexisting in his eyes. It is impossible to fail with your own ninjutsu. Wu Jiaowu curled the corners of his mouth, feeling that half of his previous anger had dissipated. He also became interested in talking to the light-haired ninja. Hey, the uncle on the opposite side. Where did I just say? The light-haired ninja froze for a moment, and his expression became strange. He asked questions before, not just because of doubts. That's just one small reason. It's more to give others a chance to sneak attack. That is why he will take the initiative to attract the enemy's attention. However, why did the white-haired kid in front of him do this? In terms of ninja vigilance, this kind of trick is basically useless after one use. It's impossible to sneak attack on him. The light-haired ninja looked at Wu Jiaowu, who was in high spirits. Is it inconvenient to call you uncle? Wu Jiaowu pondered for a while, then folded his hands together and said. I don't know what your name is, then I'll call you Juyin. His plain words hit the heart of the light-haired ninja like thunder. Makes his pupils shrink. How come? Did he guess my identity? Did the news come out? The light-haired ninja flashed a trace of panic in his heart, but the expression on his face did not change at all. They are indeed the people of the giant rock family, now disguised as such for their next plan. Unexpectedly, the identity was discovered. How to do? This secret mission is absolutely impossible to discover the true identity. You're not cheating on me, are you? He tried to regain his composure, and his eyes began to freeze. Oh, it's still a kid. You can say something so outrageous. The giant rock family, we're not those idiots. Remember the person who killed you, Ghost Lamp Shuichuan. The murderous aura on his body became heavier and heavier, and his breath became more and more ethereal. Right now, hey, really? Wu Jiaowu tilted his head slightly while holding his chin. He looked somewhat persuaded. The light-haired ninja breathed a sigh of relief. So close. But Wu Jiaowu's next words made him nervous again. You lied. There was a hint of a smile that was hard to spot in the calm voice. Wu Jiaowu pointed to the ninja fighting next to him. Look at him. Although he has white skin and gray hair, his physique is exceptionally strong and burly. Although the people of the Ghost Lantern family have lighter hair and skin than others, they are generally thinner due to the special secret techniques of their family. He turned his attention to the ninja who was fighting with the leader Kuchiki Naoya and said slowly. This one is more obvious. His fights are more of a close quarters fight, and his movements and articulations are very smooth and fluid. There is absolutely no naturalness and habit of taijutsu for the performance of ninjutsu, and sometimes the body can be used to undertake some non-lethal injuries. And the Ghost Lamp family is completely impossible to do this, they are better at hydration techniques. Under Wu Jiaowu's eloquent comments, the pale-haired ninja's face turned completely dark. How could he know so many secrets? What the hell is going on? The task they received this time was to provoke Konoha by pretending to be the Ghost Lamp clan. If their identities are revealed, the mission will fail. Now their plots and plans have been disrupted by this kid in front of them. Does the plan still need to go ahead? The wind blew Wu Jiaowu's broken white hair, and his expression was still so calm. It seems that what he just revealed is not a long-planned secret, but just a small talk like today's good weather. He looked at the light-haired ninja calmly, looking very mysterious. No one knows what his heart actually thinks. 3 color balls, I avenge you. Kunzi take revenge, it's never too late. It was not only the light-haired ninja whose vest was stripped off by Wu Jiaowu. There is one more person. That was Sato Kyoto who was fighting near him. He is too sharp to find out the truth so quickly. Before Sato Kyoto thought about it, the person on the other side noticed his distraction. Quickly attacked. The sword slashed through the hair between his forehead. Sato Kyoto, who had regained his senses, looked at the sharp sword light in his eyes, and had to hurriedly take 2 steps back. A few broken hairs fell to the ground with the cold light. So close. He turned his attention back to the enemy on the opposite side and started the fight. However, his ears were always paying attention to Wu Jiaowu's movements. It's not that he is too curious, it's just that the news that broke out there is too surprising. Wu Jiaowu raised a bright smile and looked innocently at the light-haired ninja. Are you sick? Why is your face so ugly? This time it wasn't like using drugs to make skin and hair pale. How is this going? Haven't heard of the giant rock tribe having such a feature. The innocent-looking Wu Jiaowu didn't seem to realize his vileness. He was just a kind reminder. Totally out of good intentions. Hopefully their camouflage will improve. So how could it be your own problem? Wu Jiaowu raised the corners of his mouth proudly and prepared to carry forward this helpful spirit to the end. Then he continued. Look, that giant rock shinobi, he should be used to close combat and ninjutsu attacks. Every time you get closer your fingers are tensed and ready to seal. So next he will approach the captain and use ninjutsu for a surprise attack. The most suitable for such a short distance should be lightning-style heavy flow. Wu Jiaowu's voice just fell, and then a loud shout sounded. Lightning-style heavy flow. It seems that in order to verify Wu Jiaowu's conjecture, the ninja on the opposite side used lightning style right after Wu Jiaowu finished speaking. Captain Kuchiki Naoya gained an extra second of reaction time as a result. Quickly dodged the attack. The ferocious lightning style slammed into the ground, leaving a deep trace. At this point everyone stopped fighting. They invariably looked at Wu Jiaowu, who was expounding triumphantly just now. Ninjas have very sensitive hearing. Even the slightest sound of debris can be heard clearly. Not to mention the undisguised voice. The atmosphere at the scene began to become eerily quiet. Wu Jiaowu, who was watched by everyone, gradually showed a puzzled look. He raised the corner of his mouth and looked at the crowd. Hi, look at what I do. Why don't you fight? Quote. 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 Whether it was the Konoha village or the Giant Rock clan, they gave up the fight and fell into speechlessness. Why don't you fight? Don't you have a point in your heart? How can this be played? The people at Konoha village are okay. They were just shocked by Wu Jiaowu's unexpected performance. Amazed at his sharpness and judgment. Sigh his unusual. That's it. And the people of the Giant Rock tribe are miserable. Not only were the moves completely seen through, but also the vest was ripped off. They looked at Wu Jiaowu with dark faces as if they were wearing the emperor's new clothes. Silence, silence, silence as Cambridge tonight. Wu Jiaowu stroked the blindfold and looked around. Well, fight is fight. Why did it suddenly get darker? Seeing everyone's complex and ever-changing eyes fell on him. He tilted his head, showing a rare hesitant look, thinking about how to break the silence in front of him. Then he folded his hands and continued. So I said that ninjas can disguise their skin color and hair color, but their essence will not change easily. Body and habits vary from place to place, and it's hard to hide that kind of quality and difference. Do you see that? Ha ha ha. However, the final summary did not succeed in dissipating the silence, but intensified it. In the end, the members of the Giant Rock clan looked at each other, and then flew away without looking at Wu Jiaowu. What catches your eyes? What if he couldn't hold back and killed the white-haired boy, and started a war with Konoha? The people of the Giant Rock family thought to themselves. And said, I don't want to see anything about white in a short time. After the Giant Rock shinobi is gone. Kuchiki looked at Wu Jiaowu with a complicated expression. He could hear all the conversations between Wu Jiaowu and the Giant Rock shinobi. Is that why he was an exceptional pick for Anbu? The correct anticipation of danger, keen intuition, clever and logical brain, and superb insight. Do these constitute him? Kuchiki shook his head. No, he made it all up. Only he can integrate these aspects rationally and skillfully. There are reasons why Anbu chose him. A young genius, who would refuse? Then, it's its own narrowness. And next to him, Sato Kyoto quickly walked beside Wu Jiaowu. You kid is too good. Scared them away just by moving their mouths. He sighed repeatedly. I didn't expect this boy who looked like a child to be so powerful. Extraordinarily smart. Unlike mortals like them, he is a genuine genius. No wonder he was able to enter Anbu at a young age. Are all Uchihas so prolific? It completely blocked the brilliance of their predecessors. However, Sato Kyoto did not feel angry because of this. Instead, he felt proud and happy. Proud that the new young man is so good. I am happy that Konoha has these young people to guard, and the future will be very safe. Even the former rejection of Uchiha disappeared. Wu Jiaowu's eyes curled up under the blindfold. Of course, he admitted decisively. Well, this is the mouth escape. Can the mouth escape be great? Heaven knows that countless heroes will fall under this technique in the future. The mouth escaped, and the whole team was weakened. This is the strongest ninjutsu ever. After hearing Wu Jiaowu's admission without hesitation, Sato Kyoto's mouth twitched. Sure enough, this is him. He regained his composure. What I saw just now should be an illusion. At the same time, the other team members were also taken aback. Is this the strength of being able to break into Anbu? Such subtlety of observation is truly admirable. Genius. Genius without a doubt. If he can grow up, he will definitely have a bright future. The members of the team looked at Wu Jiaowu not far away and whispered. 8 years old, unbelievable, are 8-year-old children so strong now? It's really hard to imagine that there is such a smart heart under the young appearance. That's why he can break into Anbu. I thought he walked through the back door before, but I was too narrow-minded and underestimated the power of today's youth. What a keen observation and insight. It would be great if I could become a regular partner. With such a person here, how much heart can be saved? That's right, with such a strong observation power to rely on, you will feel quite secure when you go out on a mission. Yes, after all, 80% of the people are not defeated by strength, but by intelligence and analysis of the situation. His participation will definitely make the team safer. Don't think about it. He is such a powerful young genius, and he will definitely have more powerful companions to support him. We don't need to think about it. Thinking of this, everyone sighed in unison. Genius can only be matched with genius. They packed up and moved on. Passing through the woods ahead, they soon reached their destination. Captain Kuchiki Naoya handed the scroll to the mission target and turned and left with the team. As a ninja, you can't be too curious. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, don't listen to what you can't hear. This is the law by which they live. Since the task has been completed, I will go first. Before halfway through, Wu Jiaowu suddenly looked at Kuchiki and said the same thing. ? Kuchiki was stunned when he heard this. Aren't you going back to the village for business? He asked suspiciously. Wu Jiaowu smiled at Kuchiki. Isn't there Captain Yu? It's enough for you to do business alone. I have other things to do. The location of the new clan that he had chosen to build was not far away. He also intends to take the opportunity to take a look at this mission. It's always too conspicuous to go out. However, if you take advantage of the mission to do some personal affairs, the time should not be too long. Otherwise, you will be questioned. The timing was perfect this time, the location and timing were perfect. It would be a shame not to take a look at this time. What does the new family land look like now? Wu Jiaowu bypassed the dense forest in front of him, passed through swamps, miasma and rolling mountains, and came to a hidden place. I don't know what's going on here now. He raised the corner of his mouth and walked forward slowly. The front is the new clan land he found for the Uchiha clan, and some clan people have been transferred here. Following his past memories, he soon saw the familiar and unfamiliar door. What a big change. The ball in Wu Jiaowu's mouth was almost scared away. When I came here before, there was nothing here. There is only a small wooden door with the 3 characters of the country of cold, which is quite sad. But now, a magnificent and splendid gate stands in the place where the small wooden gate used to be. The door is also engraved with the familiar. How did you change your name? Wu Jiaowu saw that the place where the name of the land of cold was engraved was now replaced by 3 big characters, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. Beauty. Hitomi country. Do you want to be so obedient? Did you really replace it? And really used his unreliable opinions? The name is too suffocating. Wu Jiaowu twitched the corner of his mouth and felt a rare trace of regret in his heart. When he saw the kingdom of cool, he couldn't hold back his complaints. The name is so cold, it's really cold. Single quote. Why don't we call it the beauty contact country? Single quote. Then face the doubtful Uchiha people. He even explained casually. Cosmetic contact lenses, as the word implies, refers to the meaning of having beautiful and powerful pupils, which is most suitable for our Sharingan family. Single quote. During this period, he also received a lot of praise and recognition. But, now seeing such dazzling 3 words, he has a deep regret. The land of cool actually sounds pretty good. Correct. The land of coolness was accidentally discovered by him. At the time he couldn't believe it was a country because it was so small that it couldn't be found on a map. Moreover, due to the dangerous location and concealment, the economy here is not very good, and bandits were rampant in the early years. Over time, most of the civilians are unwilling to continue to survive here. Even their king was accidentally killed by wandering ninjas and bandits. From then on, the caravan shunned the country of coolness, for fear that the goods would disappear before the money was made. From this, it can also be seen how chaotic the order of the cool country is. Even the king is precarious here. People with a little background have already moved to other countries to survive, and those who stay here are poor people with no name and past struggling to survive. As soon as the newly arrived king saw such a scene, he did not say a word, and planned to sell it for something else to continue enjoying it elsewhere. When Wu Jiaowu heard the news, he went back and emptied his father Uchiha Fugaku's treasury and bought it. Is there a better place to hide and grow than here? Wu Jiaowu retracted his gaze towards the three characters of Maitonguo, and walked slowly into the door. Unlike the dignified Uchiha family, there is a thriving scene inside. People come and go on the streets, very lively. It's really a good construction. Wu Jiaowu muttered softly, and quickly fell back into memory. I thought about it at the time. Although the secret conversation with the old man made him gain some trust. But after all, this is a major event for the survival of the family. It is impossible for Uchiha Fugaku, who is the patriarch, to easily put such a thing into his hands. And the militant faction within the clan is even less likely to agree. Even some clan elders who support peace and oppose war may not trust him as a young child. If you know this, you will definitely be full of doubts at first and refuse to believe it. Therefore, at the beginning, he did not blindly obtain the approval of the clan elders. It is to gain the trust of young people of the same generation and become their leaders. Then, with the secret support of the patriarch's father. The reason is to give ordinary people a chance to re-employ and survive for those ordinary people who are not gifted and accidentally injured and cannot continue to become ninjas. Wu Jiaowu brought some of his clansmen who trusted him to the land of Cool to establish a new clan and start their development. I'm just a genius. The corner of Wu Jiaowu's mouth raised a bright smile. Thus, not only can this place be a new source of income for the Uchiha family, and more importantly, it became a way back. But his plans were not all smooth sailing from the start. At first, some clan elders in the clan refused to agree. Because of the Sharingan, the Uchiha family is deeply coveted, so isn't it gone forever to take them out? And it will also reveal the bloodline secrets of the family. It is conceivable that the opposition is quite large. But Wu Jiaowu had guessed that this would happen before. Therefore, what he brought with him at the beginning was not an important person in the clan. Most of them are members of branch families or people who are not valued within the family. It is difficult for these people without a sense of presence to arouse the attention and opposition of the high level. Coupled with the various business plans that their small group has made, the success of the Uchiha family has made a lot of money. Under the urging of economic interests, their attitudes have also begun to loosen. Moreover, Wu Jiaowu also took out many security measures to protect the family secret. I don't know whether to say happy or sad. The militants in power within the clan were also less interested in such worthless ninjas, and soon succeeded in agreeing. If they can ensure that the secret of blood can create benefits by the way, they will not object. After all, the clan has spent a considerable amount of money to support these non-productive people every year. If they can save this part of the money, they are also happy to see it. After receiving the sincere wishes of others, those elders who love peace and prefer Wairo also expressed their understanding and were willing to give them a chance. So in the end Wu Jiaowu successfully took this part of the people out of the Uchiha family and came here to establish their own base. Wu Jiaowu raised his eye mask and carefully observed his surroundings. This is a big change. They are too great. As he walked, the corners of his mouth raised slightly. At the same time, passers-by seemed to notice him. Enlightenment. A little girl spoke first. She greeted Wu Jiaowu warmly. Master Wu is back. The man next to him was surprised. Really enlightened. Another old man also made a sound. With these exclamations, the people next to him also began to notice Wu Jiaowu. The crowd suddenly boiled. It's really Master Wu. He is back. I haven't seen Master Wu for a long time. All of a sudden, everyone swarmed up and surrounded Wu Jiaowu. They were all disaster victims in the land of Cool. If it wasn't for Lord Wu to come here, it is still unknown whether they would be able to survive. So I am very grateful. Wu Jiaowu, who was surrounded, looked at everyone's eyes and felt a headache for a while. Really, terrible. He sighed silently, then turned to another place in a flash. Wu Jiaowu didn't disturb anyone else this time, and left quickly after walking around the beauty contact country. After all, Konoha's ninja still can't stay outside for too long. Root base. Danzo looked at the girl in front of him and asked in a low voice. The month of Uchiha. Has anything happened to Uchiha recently? Uchiha Yu, who was questioned, replied calmly, the Uchiha family is as usual. But, she paused abruptly after speaking. But what? Danzo demanded after hearing her hesitation. Uchiha month calmed down and continued talking. However, I found a stone tablet in Nanga Shrine before, and on the stone tablet was written the eye-opening secret of the Uchiha family. Killing a loved one gives the opportunity to open the Mangekyo Sharingan. Danzo's pupils shrank suddenly, and a shocked look appeared on his face. Can Mangekyo be unlocked by killing a loved one? Thinking of this, he suddenly touched the bandage on his eyes with his hand. His Sharingan's pupil power was almost exhausted, and it was time to replace it with a new one. He looked up at Uchiha and said slowly, "Uchiha, now I want to give you a task, would you like it?" The opposite Uchiha replied without hesitation, "For the sake of the village, you will not complain about anything." Danzo smiled satisfactorily. "I remember your lover was Uchiha Shisui, who is known as a genius, and now I need you to die at his hands. Konoha really needs Mangekyo's power to protect the village. Are you willing to accept this mission?" Uchiha Yu's hands trembled for a moment, and then she said in a steady tone, "Uchiha Yu will definitely complete the mission successfully. All this is for the development of the village. This sacrifice is nothing." Early in the morning, Wu Jiaowu was sitting on a telephone pole thinking about life. Totally lacking in sugar today. The brain is going to shut down. Otherwise, steal Shisui's money and go to the South Street dim sum shop to buy desserts. Brush. The sound of items passing through the sky suddenly sounded. Something hit Wu Jiaowu, who was thinking. Wu Jiaowu tilted his head and slowly reached out to catch it. This is a book. Wu Jiaowu is not surprised about this. Six Eyes had already noticed its existence. Only. Intimacy Heaven. His voice was brisk and doubtful. It's just that he didn't notice the title of the book at all. He jumped off the telephone pole and threw the book to Kakashi across from him. "Well, Kakashi, I didn't expect your taste to be so bad. This kind of book is not mainstream anymore." The corners of Kakashi's mouth twitched slightly under the mask. "So calm. Are you still an 8-year-old? Mainstream. It seems you know a lot. Does your brother Uchiha Itachi know about this?" Kakashi was speechless for a while, then quickly got to the point. "Come on, Lord Hokage has a mission for us." "Us?" Wu Jiaowu said angrily. "You don't believe in my strength so much. I alone can kill everyone." Resolutely refused to be in the same frame as Yinmao. "Maybe," Kakashi said as he walked. He didn't know much about this mission either. Specific matters are still to be arranged. Wu Jiaowu casually followed Kakashi towards the Hokage building. Haven't entered the Hokage office yet. Wu Jiaowu has already seen the long-awaited Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui. What kind of devil mission would this be, requiring such a combination of gods? Attacking Cloud Shinobi Village. Assassination of Daimyo. 3 Uchiha plus 1 Kakashi. This combat power is really not light. Wu Jiaowu walked into the office with doubts. Third Hokage saw them coming and slowly put down the pen in his hand. "You are here. I called you here today because a traitor appeared in Konoha not long ago. Quote. In short, your next task is this Konoha rebellion." Wu Jiaowu still felt strange after walking out of Hokage's office. Does such an S-rank mission require so many people? Or is there something special about this betrayal? When Wu Jiaowu and Uchiha Itachi returned home, Uchiha Itachi spoke to Wu Jiaowu. Today's Konoha Renin is actually Uchiha Shisui's girlfriend. His girlfriend, Wu Jiaowu whispered. No wonder he was in such a bad mood today. It was because of this. When Wu Jiaowu and Uchiha Itachi got home, they saw Uchiha Fugaku waiting for them. Uchiha Fugaku saw the two sons ease their brows and asked, "I heard today that you are going on a mission together. What mission requires the two of you to go out together?" Uchiha Itachi first said calmly, "Ninjas are not allowed to reveal the contents of the mission." Uchiha Fugaku's face darkened. He stared at Uchiha Itachi for a long time, and then turned his attention to Wu Jiaowu. Wu Jiaowu had a bright smile on his face. "Don't worry, Dad, we are going to be magic boys." The corner of Uchiha Fugaku's mouth twitched hard. "Magic boy, brat, what are you always looking at? It should be well managed. Don't you have anything else to tell me?" Fugaku continued. How could an ordinary S-rank mission use so many people? Could this be some kind of conspiracy? Wu Jiaowu shook his head and said solemnly, "Dad, you don't have to worry too much, we are very reliable. With the strength of the two of them, most people and things are not dangerous to them." Uchiha Fugaku looked at the two children and sighed slightly. "Forget it, hurry up and leave." Out of sight, out of mind. Still don't care. They arrived at the meeting point, at which point Kakashi and Shisui seemed to have just arrived. Hey, you are here too, Wu Jiaowu greeted with a smile. The opposite Shisui asked hesitantly, is there any problem with this way of wearing it? Wouldn't it be uncomfortable to put the eye mask on the mask? Just looking at it makes me suffocate. Not at all. Wu Jiaowu's mouth twitched slightly. Oh, kid, when you have pimples on your face, no girls will like you. Shisui said casually with a smile. Wu Jiaowu twitched the corner of his mouth and raised a bright smile. I got out of the circle by people, not by my face. If a woman doesn't love her anymore, it's useless no matter how handsome she is. He thought thoughtfully. There is always someone who loves his unique soul, not his handsome appearance. Ha ha, what do you usually watch? Uchiha Shisui laughed when he heard this. Is there a generation gap? I don't understand what the young people are saying. He put away the task scroll and continued the topic just now. But you're right, so I'm going to hunt down the man who doesn't even love my handsome appearance. Uchiha Shisui's attitude changed quickly, from a moment of sunshine to murderous. Is this Blacken? Wu Jiaowu twitched the corners of his mouth, looking at Uchiha Shisui whose temperament changed 180 degrees in front of him. Hey, your image is shattered, you know that. This style is too far from what it used to be. After they were done fighting, Kakashi opened Shikai to talk about the mission. According to the intelligence analysis, the rebel Uchiha month set off from Konoha and has been heading towards the Land of Water. According to her speed, it should still be within the territory of the Land of Fire now. We have to successfully capture her before she leaves the Land of Fire for good. Once she has fled to the territory of other countries, we will not be able to search on a large scale. Sharingan is very coveted, so we have to act as carefully as possible to avoid detection. By the time, wait a moment, I remember that the mission said to kill Rinin, not to capture it alive. Uchiha Shisui suddenly asked. His expression looked the same as usual, nothing had changed much. Wu Jiaowu raised his chin and glanced at Uchiha Shisui strangely. Lovelorn men are scary. Is this the power of death love? Even rebellion needs to investigate clearly before making a decision, and we don't know if there is any important information on him. Kakashi said without hesitation. Then Kakashi looked aside to Uchiha Itachi and asked him his opinion on the matter with his eyes. If you encounter resistance during the capture process, kill them on the spot. Uchiha Itachi's voice was calm and indifferent. Wu Jiaowu couldn't help but complained when he saw the two people who had mutated during the mission. You don't have dual personalities, do you trigger that magical switch when you're on a mission? And Shisui, isn't she your love, too Tsunere? No girls will like you, be careful when the crematorium happens. Uchiha Shisui pretended to be lighthearted and said, a dead love is a good love. And this is doing a mission, and the ninja in the mission has no personal feelings. No wonder, Wu Jiaowu thought to himself as he looked at the two in front of him. No wonder they became good friends, and in the end Uchiha Itachi would continue Shisui's legacy to protect Konoha forever. These two are surprisingly similar. Whether it is the view of things or the choice, it is surprisingly the same. This can't be done. If everything is according to the original book, when the night of the genocide comes, Uchiha Itachi will not kill his own brother and destroy him too. His acting degree is not enough now, and many skills cannot be displayed. When the time comes when Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Obito who have obtained Mangekyo will join forces, plus the people from Danzo and Konoha, he may really overturn. Although it was fun to jump on the edge of the baseline, he didn't want to try to hit a tree with his head. Thinking of the devil situation and immortal combination on the night of the extermination, Wu Jiaowu secretly made a decision. Since the eldest brother Tutai had to form a group with Obito, he dug up the wall in advance and cut off the big gift package Shisui in advance. PK, it is fair to open 5 or 5. The sun is just right. Wu Jiaowu unhurriedly followed Kakashi and the others through the woods. The atmosphere of the whole team is also relatively relaxed. After all, it's just an S-level mission, and any one of the 4 of them can easily solve it. I said, do you want to give our team a name? Wu Jiaowu suddenly said to the quiet 3. Blindfolded Girl Killer Ninja Ultimate Team. This name is too bad. Uchiha Shisui's mouth twitched fiercely. Besides, Blindfolding is a hobby that only you and Kakashi have a soft spot for. Itachi and I are normal. He glanced at Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi silently. Huh, Kakashi sneered and joined the conversation. Am I not normal? He just covered Sharingan with forehead protector. Unlike Satoru, this guy. Then he nodded and rolled his eyes. Little devil, the level of your name is really indescribable. But the girl killer is quite suitable for me. Hey, are you sure? Wu Jiaowu gave Kakashi a strange look. I didn't expect Kakashi to be so narcissistic. Standing in front of Wu Jiaowu, who is the face of his Uchiha trio, dare to be so confident. Seeing Wu Jiaowu's suspicious eyes, Kakashi showed a smug smile. Little devil, you weren't born when I was popular with Konoha. It seems. Wu Jiaowu paused and continued. You are still a flower in Konoha village. Murahua, hello. Wu Jiaowu's voice was brisk and had a thick and flat meaning. PFF'd. Two chuckles suddenly sounded. Not only Uchiha Shisui next to him couldn't hold back his laughter. Even Uchiha Itachi, who was on his way in silence, let out a small chuckle. Kakashi's face suddenly became speechless, and a hash mark appeared on his forehead. Are you doing this right? Wu Jiaowu and the others walked and stopped as if they were shopping. Finally, on the 5th day, they found a trace of the month of Uchiha. Wu Jiaowu looked at Uchiha Shisui, who found the clue, amusingly. The boy who said that tasks are more important than everything seems to be less honest than he has shown. The water release is so powerful that even a lazy person like him can't stand it. However, I said girl, it's been 5 days, why did you come here? This speed is too slow. This is the border between the land of fire and the land of iron. Kakashi took out the map and flipped through it. According to the clues just now, she is most likely to reach this position. He pointed to a location on the map. This place has a strange terrain, easy to defend and difficult to attack, and it is convenient to design ambush and escape in time. There's no better place to escape than here. I think she may also have gone in the direction of the country of Vortex. There is also a hot spring here. Girls must like it. Quote. With everyone's strange gazes, Wu Jiaowu took back his unreliable suggestion again. Everyone really has no sense of humor. Kakashi pulled back the map and led everyone forward. Soon they found more clues and traces. Looks like it's almost there. Kakashi looked back at the ground. Don't worry, she's stupid, she can't run. Uchiha Shisui's mouth curled into a small smile. I seem to have eaten something amazing just now. Wu Jiaowu said, covering his mouth. Is this what dog food tastes like? It's so unpalatable. He looked up at the sky and sighed about his fate. Suddenly, 3-color balls. A box of 3-color balls hangs on a tree in the distance. And it's a limited edition premium luxury. I am coming. Wu Jiaowu suddenly got up and rushed forward. Quote. Quote. The three who stayed in place fell into silence. Can't he see that this is a trap? Uchiha Shisui asked hesitantly. His teammates shouldn't be that stupid. Maybe he saw it, Kakashi said calmly. But so what? With his strength, even a trap is not enough to be afraid of. In that case, let's split up. Uchiha Shisui said suddenly. His eyes were clear and his expression was extraordinarily calm. Kakashi and Uchiha Itachi glanced at him and nodded. They each chose a direction to probe. Under the sun, a young girl suddenly appeared in a dense forest. The chase is slow enough. Uchiha Yu slightly raised the corner of his mouth. Didn't expect him to release water. It's worth knowing that. Swipe. With the sound of the sky breaking, countless shuriken attacked her and blocked her in all directions. Who is it? Uchiha dodged the sudden shuriken. She looked up at the visitor. Uchiha Itachi. That teenage genius. She lowered her head without looking into his eyes. She had heard of Uchiha Itachi Sharingan's illusion ability. This level of illusion is not comparable to her, a ninja who is worthy of 2 Guyu. Hold on, Uchiha Itachi said lightly. Uchiha Month did not give up the struggle, looked around, and then prepared to attack. Here, she took 2 steps back and quickly retreated in one direction. The wind howled behind. She was getting farther and farther away from the jungle just now. Did you make it? So easy to get rid of genius ninja Uchiha Itachi. But Uchiha Yu felt a bit of doubt in her heart. Why didn't he move just now? Do you release water? With her strength, it's not so obvious that the water is released, right? As she kept running forward, she suddenly found in surprise that the scene around her became more and more familiar. How come? Is it to say? She paused and looked up. Uchiha Itachi was still standing there watching her calmly. Is it illusion? When, obviously you have avoided looking at each other, how can you still? Could it be that it was a move in the moment when the shuriken was used? Yu looked at Uchiha Itachi in front of him with surprise in his eyes. There was a hint of admiration in her expression. As expected of a genius ninja Uchiha Itachi. When Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi arrived, they saw Uchiha Itachi with a calm expression and Uchiha Yu who had been stunned. Caught, Kakashi sighed slightly when he saw Uchiha Yu who was frozen in place. This thing has come to an end. And next to Wu Jiaowu. There was a strange expression on his face. He looked at the trapped Uchiha month with a confused expression. Under 6 eyes, he clearly noticed the problem. The person in front of him is not actually Uchiha month. Just a clone of her. Are they too confident? Did you pay attention to such a simple trap? Sure enough, it was because of Shisui that he let down his guard against Uchiha month. Gee, should I tell them? I'm sure everyone's faces will be amazing by then. Wu Jiaowu thought for a while and then decided to give the young couple in the distance a little more time together. He twitched the corners of his mouth with a smile and returned to his original place. What the hell? Wu Jiaowu's 6 eyes saw an incredible scene just now. Shisui and Uchiha month they. Wu Jiaowu looked straight at Itachi and Kakashi. Let's go and find Shisui and Uchiha month. Both Uchiha Itachi and Kakashi were taken aback when they heard this. What, could it be that? They looked back at Uchiha, who was stuck in the same place with an illusion. No, it doesn't seem like. Uchiha Itachi threw a shuriken with his right hand and shot Uchiha Yu without hesitation. A puff of smoke and dust dispersed in front of everyone in an instant. Uchiha Tasuki, who was hit by an illusion, disappeared instantly. Sure enough, it was just a clone just now. Uchiha Itachi and Kakashi looked at each other, and headed towards Shisui without saying a word. Since they don't have any of these places, then Uchiha Yu should go in that direction. Wu Jiaowu, who was on his way, also remained silent, did not speak, and only sighed lightly. It's too late now. His 6 eyes had already seen the end of the story just now. In the setting sun, Uchiha Shisui is holding Uchiha Tasuki, who was pierced by a long sword through his chest. Why are you doing this? Shisui lowered his eyes and looked at the lover in his arms. I didn't expect that I could fool you once. Uchiha Yu slowly raised the corner of his mouth. Yeah, it's so smart for once. His voice trembled slightly. I found a stone tablet at the Nanhi temple. It says that a strong stimulus is required to turn on Mangekyo Sharingan. So you were killed by me on purpose, right? Uchiha Shisui twitched the corners of his mouth. What a fool. Is this Root's job? Uchiha Yu nodded slowly and looked at Uchiha Shisui. Konoha needs a fighting force with Mangekyo. For the sake of the village and the mission, I can only do this. At the same time, the 3 of Kakashi also came here. Are you late? Kakashi sighed slightly. This time the task was actually given to Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui by Danzo. Given Uchiha's mediocre strength, it is very strange to be rated as an S-rank betrayal. And in this sensitive period, it always felt like something was going to happen when the 2 Uchihas went after their kin. Taking into account all the circumstances, 3rd Hokage added him and Wu Jiaowu to the roster this time. And let him watch what Danzo was thinking about. Unexpectedly, I saw this scene. This kind of mission with the goal of sacrificing allies is meaningless. Kakashi said in a low voice, and there seemed to be a burning flame in his eyes. Why, Uchiha can even accept this kind of task. I can probably understand her thoughts. Uchiha Itachi, who had not spoken for a long time, suddenly spoke up. If personal sacrifices can be exchanged for the stability and peace of the village, I will also. Kakashi turned his head and looked at Uchiha Itachi inexplicably. What, you too? Should it be said that you are all from the Uchiha family? He sighed softly. They're all so similar. Kakashi, have you forgotten me? I'm not like them lunatics. Wu Jiaowu said in a dissatisfied tone. Only children would believe this kind of sacrifice in exchange for peace. One person's life is only to add a fire to another person's strength. How absurd. What's even more absurd is that they take it for granted. Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief when he heard Wu Jiaowu's voice. He finally saw the reaction that a normal person should have. Although it was obtained from Wu Jiaowu, a guy who is not normal in itself. But it's better than nothing. So you are a weird Uchiha. Kakashi muttered silently. How can there be such a brilliant Uchiha? Apart from Obito, it was the first time he had seen such a Uchiha. It has to be said that compared to him, Obito can be called calm and reserved. It's not me, but them, Wu Jiaowu said quietly. He is the only normal ordinary person in the whole family. Uchiha Shisui put Yu's body back in the scroll and turned around to hear their conversation. You did this all to increase the fighting power of the village. I can understand. Can you understand? Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi were shocked at the same time. What are you doing, looking at me like that? Uchiha Shisui said with a pretense of ease. Ah, Shisui, if you've been brainwashed, let me know. Wu Jiaowu said slowly. Can you understand this kind of thing? It's too twisted. You can't even understand Danzo behind the scenes. Thinking of this, Wu Jiaowu asked tentatively. Would you like me to put on the Danzo sack for you? She wouldn't have died if it wasn't for him. Uchiha Shisui sighed lightly and regained his strength. Danzo is also for Konoha's good. I hope Konoha can increase his combat power. Although the way, he paused and continued, if my death was worthwhile, I'd do it too. Wu Jiaowu and Kakashi were silent for a long time. Finally, they looked at each other and let out a long sigh. This fool. After completing the task, Wu Jiaowu embarked on the journey back with them. Wu Jiaowu shook his hair, and his blue eyes became deeper. Now that Uchiha Shisui has opened Mangekyo, the night of Uchiha's genocide will officially begin. He also plans to plan how to reduce the enemy's combat power. I said juvenile. Wu Jiaowu slowed down and walked side by side with Uchiha Shisui. What? Uchiha Shisui instinctively felt Wu Jiaowu's strangeness at this moment. Don't you hate Danzo at all? Wu Jiaowu asked suspiciously. If it wasn't for Danzo, his girlfriend wouldn't die. Does he really not blame Danzo at all? Wu Jiaowu said he couldn't understand the operation. Uchiha Shisui paused for a moment and then replied. I would say there was resentment at first, but then I realized it was the war and the unrest that I was to blame the most. If it weren't for these, Danzo wouldn't need higher combat power. She will not die. I think about my personal emotions and Danzo thinks about Konoha as a whole, so there are things he has to do. Emotionally I can't forgive him, but intellectually I can understand him and he must be doing it for peace. You must think so too. If we can get peace, sacrificing us is nothing. So I can put up with him. Wu Jiaowu twitched the corners of his mouth and sighed helplessly. Silly child, you are so sweet, sweeter than 3-color balls. So, do you think Danzo wants you to turn on Mangekyo to increase Konoha's combat power? Wu Jiaowu asked. Indeed, he has no other reason to do this kind of thing. Uchiha Shisui was a little surprised by Wu Jiaowu's question. That's not necessarily true. Wu Jiaowu raised a mocking smile at the corner of his mouth. Maybe he is a rotten orange with a special hobby, and likes all kinds of stamp collecting. Gather the eyes of the entire Uchiha clan, maybe he can summon the dragon. Uchiha Shisui twitched the corners of his mouth in amusement. Your imagination is so rich. Why would he need my eyes? That's not necessarily. Your distinguished heavenly gods will still be used by him in the future. Wu Jiaowu muttered silently. What if he really wanted your eyes? After all, you are Mangekyo, and the attraction is not small for some strange old men. He continued to ask. Are you worried about me? I'm not a fool, how could I hand over my eyes? Uchiha Shisui laughed when he heard this. He is also a person who has been in and out of the battlefield for many years. Can it be that he can't even see the truth? No matter how bad it is, he can keep his eyes right. Don't worry, Danzo is not an unreasonable person. He is all good for Konoha, he won't do anything to me. Uchiha Shisui seemed to understand the intention of Wu Jiaowu's question, and he immediately relieved him. Sure enough, I was still a child, thinking about these unrestrained things all day long. Rest assured, it is impossible to rest assured. You guys are so deep into that old Danzo filter. Is he wearing a beauty filter? How can everyone see the world and people are different? Wu Jiaowu was deeply speechless. However, he had already anticipated this situation. After all, he's not Naruto, and he doesn't have the kind of skill to escape. It is impossible to say a word and the other party will immediately recognize it. However, the harsh reality will soon tell them what is called a rollover and what is called a face slap. So he wasn't too worried. Konoha, Hokage House. Wu Jiaowu followed Kakashi and the others to Sarutobi Hiruzen and returned home in a hurry. Inside the room, he opened the system panel. Host, Wu Jiaowu. World, Hokage Ninja. Unlocks the spellback power ceiling template, Gojo Satoru. Unlock percentage, 40%. Skills, 6 eyes complete version Kang incomplete version He incomplete version. Play points, 2000. Wu Jiaowu looked at the system panel in front of him and pondered for a long time. Now his combat power has not been fully unlocked, and he still needs to continuously earn acting points to unlock combat power skills. He still needs to work hard to get stronger. A few days later, Konoha Street. Second brother, what about the wooden fish rice balls? Sasuke puffed out his cheeks. There's no way out. Who made that store close, or I'll steal Itachi's 3-color balls for you. Wu Jiaowu said seriously. Since Uchiha Shisui opened his eyes, it seems that the Uchiha family has been increased vigilance and monitoring by Konoha, and even has less tasks with him, and has time to take Sasuke out for shopping. Second brother, you are fooling me again. The 3-color balls are clearly your favorite, and I don't eat sweet ones. Sasuke said helplessly. Wu Jiaowu folded his hands together and looked at Sasuke with a serious and dignified expression. That's weird. His voice was low and menacing. Itachi and I are both special cadres of the Sweet Party organization, but you belong to our hostile organization, the Salty Party. So, I announce that you have been excluded from our small group. The words ended with a strange ending. ... Boring. Sasuke twitched the corner of his mouth when he looked at Wu Jiaowu, who seemed to be deep. How did such an unreliable second brother get into Anbu? He wouldn't be sacked there, would he? A wicked smile flashed across Wu Jiaowu's face. Since the wooden fish dumplings are gone, let's go eat ramen. It just so happened that he also had a free ticket contributed by Shisui's friendship. ... Sasuke next to him fell silent. Hand pulled noodle. Thinking of the last experience, he slammed into his stomach. Is there another ramen competition in Konoha? He thought about it carefully and then shook his head to deny the conjecture. Konoha hasn't done much recently. Looking up at the sky, Wu Jiaowu was waiting patiently for Sasuke's response. Suddenly, he saw a strange scene. Isn't this Naruto? What is he doing? I saw Naruto, not far from the opposite, cleaning the Hokage rock statues of the past. Come on, let's go take a look. Wu Jiaowu carried Sasuke forward without saying a word and ran. Where to go? Sasuke looked at Wu Jiaowu, who was running in confusion. The figure was pulled and swayed in midair by him. You should let me down first. Wu Jiaowu quickly arrived near the Hokage rock statue in 3 and 2 steps. Yo, isn't this Naruto? A smile twitched at the corner of his mouth. Who, is anyone still looking for him? Naruto put down what was in his hand and turned around unexpectedly. Big brother, he exclaimed in surprise. It turned out to be a big brother. Haven't seen each other for a long time. What are you doing? Wu Jiaowu asked casually, putting down the fluttering Sasuke in his hand. Second fool. Sasuke finally came down with anger in his eyes. He almost vomited halfway. Wu Jiaowu touched his nose and bluntly avoided Sasuke's gaze. This time he really forgot. Definitely not intentional. Naruto on the opposite side looked at the interaction between Wu Jiaowu and Sasuke with a flash of envy in his eyes. Ha ha ha, I'm rubbing the rock statue. He scratched his head and said with a smile. This won't be your masterpiece, Slingback. Sasuke said coldly, glancing at the messy smear marks. You're the tail of the crane, fool. Naruto suddenly shouted across from him. The tail of the crane. Fool, second brother, what are you doing? Yes, big brother, what are you doing? When the two were repeatedly bickering, they suddenly realized that something was wrong. At the same time, the two turned their heads suspiciously to look at Wu Jiaowu, who was sitting and watching the show. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Wu Jiaowu silently put away the camera in his hand after sensing their gaze. He raised a bright smile and said solemnly, "Hey, leave me alone, you guys continue. I'm recording the best moments in my life. Look at that cloud, it floats so comfortably, it's really a pity not to record it properly." "Second brother, do you think I'm stupid?" Sasuke said through gritted teeth. "Big brother, even I don't believe this." Naruto nodded earnestly. For a while, the two stood on the same front and stared at Wu Jiaowu with burning eyes. "Ha ha ha, is it? Ha, turned out to be smart." Wu Jiaowu's face showed an expression of sudden realization. "Second brother, delete it." Sasuke looked at Wu Jiaowu angrily. Naruto also put away his smile and looked at the camera seriously. "Everything about Black history will be destroyed." They looked at each other tacitly and then looked at Wu Jiaowu again. "Delete it. It's not impossible." Wu Jiaowu raised his chin and thought seriously. "But I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."